If only I was rolling during that part.
Yeah.
Oh. You don't have the headphones in? That sounded crisp as fuck.
Nice. I don't want to go to work tomorrow, man.
Why?
I hate my job. I've applied at so many places in this week and haven't heard from any of them.
You just applied back to Taco Mama and they're like, do you have a college degree?
Like, I've applied. Fucking Addison applies at 8 places. The next day gets an interview. I apply at 8 places, and the next day I get an email saying that the position is filled.
Damn.
Yeah, it's rough, bud.
It's hard out here, bro. It truly is. Man, I've been, I got a lot of shit on my plate right now, dude. Got a lot of fucking shit on my plate. I gotta film the, visual pitch. Yep. I gotta film the visual pitch next week. And then I've got to do a table reading, which I was telling, I don't know if, was I talking to you about it too, about it happening at Richard's place?
Having what?
The table read at Richard's place.
You mentioned the table read. You didn't mention like a place to do it.
Yeah, I want to like print off, because I don't know if you've seen the way he rearranged his place, but he has like a sitting room with like couches and chairs and shit all in like a circle.
Nice.
It's where the room that had like the chessboard used to be.
Nice.
And so I was talking to him, and he loves that idea of like, I'm gonna print off physical copies of the script for everybody that's reading. We're gonna sit in a circle and do the table read that way. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that would feel very legit. And I'm gonna record the table read, and I'm gonna send it to or I'm gonna send it eventually along with whatever package I send, trying to get it picked up somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna do another revision of it. This is gonna be like the last revision. After this revision, I'm never touching it again. I'm sending it off, and unless I send it to a company and they're like, "Hey, we want you to make these very small changes," and if I agree with those changes, I'll do it.
Hell
yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's the opening for this one.
Nice.
Yeah. Kind of sounded almost a little morbid, a little bit. We're just talking about.
I was very quiet and solemn and serious. Like,
can't get a job. I got so much shit to do. There's gonna be like fucking happy like Wii music playing over the whole thing. It was like too morbid. We're gonna make it happy, and just blind happiness is way better than legitimate sadness, huh?
Yeah. Let me tell you, man. Is that Kraken?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff.
You ever notice that Kraken smells kind of like Havas?
Havas?
Yeah, have a nice day.
You give me something every time.
I saw that one 5 minutes before you got here, and I was like, oh, it's wholesome.
Yeah, at least it's better than the last one you got me with.
Yeah. I knocked you stone cold on the last one.
This one, you kind of picked me back up.
I still have one.
You're going to pick me up until you beat me back down again.
I have one that I'm saving for the perfect moment, and when I pull it off, it's going to be great, but I got it in the bank waiting for it.
I'd love to sit here and say, oh, I'd never fall for that, but I've fallen for this literally 2 openings in a row. Yep. It didn't even... You're going to get me with the next one. I'm going to be anticipating it.
You won't, because this one is nothing like any of the other ones.
God damn it.
The one I have, I'm just like, no one's going to see that one coming.
God damn. I'm not ready for it.
No one is.
So we're back.
Yeah.
We were hoping this was going to be the first one we were going to finally have the Graham Cam, or the fact checker on here with us, but he couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, so next time.
You get us losers.
Next time.
This is the first one we've had in a while where we don't have any guests, I'm pretty sure. Did we have guests on the last one?
I think we did.
I feel like we did.
Was Graham on the last one? Was Graham on the last one?
I don't know if Graham was on the last one.
I don't remember.
It's been about a month since we recorded one of these.
I don't have a good memory.
But like we usually have a guest or two, but this was one of the first. We haven't. I mean, we're kind of getting back to the roots on this one.
Yeah. Nothing wrong.
In fact, like the whole thing was like we decided we were gonna record one tonight, and we had a D&D session. And after the D&D session, which ended very quickly,
it was more of a PTU.
It's PTU, but I say D&D.
It's a tabletop.
Yeah.
RPG. It's a Pokemon tabletop.
It
RPG,
is.
For those of you who don't know what PTU is.
And we'll probably go in depth on that one on one of these podcasts. We'll talk about it. Maybe once we like either beat the game or get really far into it, we can really like break down our thoughts on the whole thing. But we were just sitting there bullshitting, and we were like, dude, we could just be talking about all this on the podcast.
Yeah. What are we doing?
That's the whole reason
wasting our time here.
That's the whole reason we started the podcast, was because we we just loved having these long form conversations and talk about the things that we like to do and things that we like, and hopefully people will listen to them. And if they don't, they don't. Some do. We get a few viewers every time, so somebody is listening to what we have to say.
Yeah. And you're cool, whoever you are.
Whoever you are. Except half the time I don't see many likes on our stuff, so if it ain't you, fuck yourself. Leave a like.
Smash that move. But anyway,
we're trying to get them sponsors, baby.
In the last month since we've done a podcast, some really cool stuff has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, Netflix has released a trilogy of horror films that were written by R.L. Stine based off of a very long novel series that he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like a series. I think they're all just like standalone books.
No, yeah,
in the world.
the other
I
books
don't know.
are
Haven't
not,
read any of them.
The other books are not part of a series. It's not part of this series. Like this is, from what I understand, this isn't even a.
This is an original story.
Yeah,
but it's based off of
like if it was written as a novel, it would fit in that series.
Yeah. But anyway, it's Fear Street is what it's called. 3 movies. First one takes place in, is it 97?
94, I thought.
I never remember.
I think it was Fear Street 1994.
Second one's Fear Street Part 2.
This is why we need Graham. He'd be the one looking this up.
Is it 77? I think is the second one.
I don't think it was 77. It's 1994.
And is it 74? Because that was 20 years before.
It's 1978.
78, God.
And then 1666 is the third one.
I knew I had that one right. I
swear to God, we're just gonna wind up cutting this back and being like, okay, let's not fuck it up this time.
So Fear Street 94, Fear Street 78, and Fear Street 1666. It is a really cool movie trilogy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was. Oh, it's a great.
It's like one story told throughout different time periods.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But the thing is like the first movie, which is chronologically the last movie, 94. That movie happens, and then in the second film, the one that takes place in 78, it actually starts and ends in 94 with the main story being like a character that we meet at the beginning of the film, giving her story from when she was younger.
Mm-hmm. Actually, chronologically, the last film is technically the last one because of the...
And then in 1666, it tells the beginning of the story, how the story that is causing all the trouble in 94 started, and then at the end of it, or about a little over halfway through, I'd say, maybe halfway through, that story is finished, and then the rest of the film is the conclusion of what's going on in 1994. Really cool,
dude.
Really like the way that they told the story in that order.
And we're not going to go into full detail here because I think we are planning on doing this one as a review.
We will review all 3 of the films, so we're not going to dive deep.
And so I think one of the reasons it's a good thing we're telling you about it now is so that you will go watch it and then come back and listen to our review when we do that one. Yeah. Because, in fact, you need to watch this anyway because I think this is a new thing. This is the first time I've ever seen a movie trilogy that was truly made as a trilogy. Yeah. Like, the rest of them, like, even if they're planning a trilogy, they're made, it's like they then take 2 years or so while they're making the next one, they release it, and then over the course of like 5 or 6 years, they release 3 movies. This one they filmed all at once and the whole story requires all 3. You cannot just watch one of these movies individually and be like, cool, I got enough.
Because none of the stories are wrapped up until the end of the 3rd film.
But it's so good. It's almost like a mini series, but it is movies. It is movies.
It's like it was all filmed last summer, I believe, in one very hectic summer, and they said that that's how they believe the films should be released and experienced. They released them each 1 week apart. Mm-hmm. And we watched them each 1 week apart.
Hey, we're doing Spooktuber movie month this year.
Oh, absolutely.
And these are going to be part of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they gotta.
It's like one each night. We'll do a 3-night thing. By the way, in Spooktuber movie month, which is something we do annually, I think I joined in the second year that you and Jason started doing it. I joined in. But and then since then, we've all kind of been part of it. Yeah. We kind of, last year was a little bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah, because of like COVID and everything, it was hard to do.
But this year, Spooktuber Movie Month is back
on.
And we'll have a bigger announcement about that later on. I'm sure we'll talk more about it. We're going to start...
This time, what I think we should do is we should, before the month starts...
We'll get a lineup.
Plan out the month.
Whereas,
like, in past years, we've just, like, met up, be like, all right, so what's tonight's movie?
Yeah.
Not going to do that this year. We're going to actually have a 31-movie lineup.
And I'll tell you what, and what we can probably do... Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying this is an idea. Is if we line up the movie, we release the lineup, so that anybody who watches, if they want to watch them with us on their own, like they can watch it and we'll watch it at the same time. And that way, when on any of our podcasts of that month, we talk about any of the movies, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. You'll know exactly where we are. I'm just saying that's an idea. And so we're not saying we're going to do that, but it is an idea.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, Fear Street definitely check it out.
And it's actually really hard not to talk about it because just how good it is, dude.
The only thing I'm going to say about it is that you gotta love Sheriff Good.
Dude, he's such a good character.
Awesome character, Sheriff Good.
The whole, I mean, man, every character. And then, man, there's no like just boring character. Like, it's so good. And the performances
Sheriff
are really
good. Was
good.
Awesome. Ziggy?
I think that's her
Karen
name.
Gillan's
character? Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I think so. The redhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah, I like her.
I liked every character, man. At least as like the character they filled, you know, the part like even if I didn't like that character, I appreciated the performance and what their purpose was.
One thing that was cool is in the second movie, 78. In 78, we had a little surprise, at least for me, for those of you who have seen the 2018 Halloween. The actor who plays the main character's friend that gets killed by Michael on the fence.
Oh yeah, dude.
He is in that movie. It's a summer camp film, a summer camp horror film. That one. He plays one of the counselors. And I was very delighted to see him.
Oh yeah, he's really fun on screen.
Yeah. I like him.
Would
like to see him play a different role.
Yeah, he's getting typecast.
Yeah, he played the same fucking character in this movie as he did in the last one.
Honestly, I'm convinced it's the same. I'm convinced that in Halloween, that's that guy's like father, and he actually he like sired a child, and he was like 15 or 16 years. No, he's 18 when he sired a child. He died at camp, and like it was only destined that later on he himself would die in Halloween.
It was great films though. Great films. Check them out.
Oh yeah, and that's all we're gonna say about it for now.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna talk about more movie stuff later. But we've had like a long form discussion about some video game topics lately.
Yeah.
And so we've got actually a lot of video game topics to talk about tonight. And the first one is one that's been on many people's minds for months and months and months since it released.
Half a year now.
Half a year now. Honestly,
a little over half a year actually.
I'll be convinced it exists when you have one plugged into your TV.
Well, no, I know they exist. I've played one, but it's the PS5.
When did you
my buddy Winston in Huntsville has one. When I went up to visit him,
was it cool to like? How big is it in person? I hear the thing is fucking massive.
I will say I don't know. It was in like a little cubby, and I didn't really get to see the actual thing, but I did play it. All I played was like.
But that's research time, baby.
I played the Godfall game. Was not fun.
Damn.
Yeah. Sucks because like it's inspired by my favorite book series. Was not a fun game.
What was wrong with it?
It was boring.
All right, guys, welcome to our weekly review. We're going to be reviewing Godfall this week.
It was boring and repetitive. That's all I'll say. And then after that, I played like you know how like the PS4 had like a tech demo on it that was like just a small game meant to show you what it can do. PS5 also has that, and I played one of the levels, and dude, that alone was like. It was a 3D platformer, awesome 3D platformer. Like, I haven't played like a shit ton of 3D platformers. I'll admit, I've played maybe like 10, dude. But I mean, it was in the top 10.
That just reminds me of how much we need to finish It Takes Two.
We do need to game. I was actually thinking about it the other day. We need to play It Takes Two.
We might play that after the podcast. Fuck it.
I'm down. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'm down if you want to.
So, what would you say, because you've had a lot more experience with it than I have, eventually at some point I might get a PS5. I personally am looking to get an Xbox myself. But what would you say, in your opinion, is the coolest thing about the PS5?
The controller.
I was going to say the same thing, but specifically the little micro X's and O's and triangles and squares.
I don't have a PlayStation 5, but I do have a PS5 controller. Because I, honest to God, thought I would have a PS5 by now, and so I bought a PS5 controller the day that the PS5 launched. And yeah, like the grip is textured, but it's textured with X's, squares, circles, and triangles that are really tiny. It's awesome. Love the controller. But about the Xbox, I am actually, with my next paycheck, I'm gonna start putting probably 50 back each paycheck. And when I have enough, and when I can find one in stock, I'm going to buy one of the Xbox Series S's, the digital-only editions. I'm going to get one of those, throw it in here, and then I'll probably just use it for exclusives and games that my PC can't run. But like, if you think I'm gonna, if you think that I'm not gonna get Halo,
you're out of your mind, I'm definitely getting Halo.
Like, but here's the thing. So, do you think that it is rebooting the second trilogy? Like, do you think they're retconning 4 and 5 to make this a sequel to 3?
You have no idea how long I've been waiting to have this discussion. Okay, the way that I've heard about it, because the thing is, okay, let me give some context to where I'm at with Halo and where I've been with Halo. In 2008, I think it was 2008, I had surgery. The Christmas in the summer of 2008.
Is it the hernia?
Yeah. Okay. The Christmas before that surgery, my folks, a while before that, like a year before that, I had a. No, sorry, I'm telling the story so bad. The Christmas before that surgery.
No, you're not telling it bad. You're telling it like Fear Street, out of order.
Okay.
You got to start at the beginning and work your way back.
Remix,
and then
honey.
Finish it.
Remix. No, like so. The Christmas before that surgery, my folks got me an Xbox 360 for Christmas, and when they got it for me, they also got it Halo 3, and that was my first introduction to Halo. Nice. And so when I had that surgery, for 3 days I laid up on that couch playing Halo and whatever else, and I had no context of Halo 1 and 2, and I still loved that game. Yeah. So I went through, eventually way later on, I played through the whole thing, and I wound up eventually getting the Red Ring of Death, and so I only got to play a couple of Halo games before that happened, and so at the time there was really no way to fix that. And nobody knew how to fix it yet. And it wasn't like I had like online forums to go read.
Yeah.
So I sold it to GameStop along with all my games and bought a PS3 at a lower cost. Later on, Halo 4 was announced, and I was like, I'm playing Halo 4 when it comes out.
Gotta play Halo 4.
And so not only did I get Halo 4, I bought an exclusive Halo 4. Xbox.
Yeah.
And got the game on launch, got the Xbox on launch. I played the shit out of it. At the time, I really loved that game. In retrospect, I liked the game. But at the time, what happened?
I don't know. My elbow hurts.
If you know that Luke was just trying to sit up or something and just freaking like his elbow popped out of socket or whatever.
I don't know. It didn't pop out of socket.
Me over here laughing at him about it. Luke over here holding his elbow. I'm just laughing.
You broke your elbow.
You know what?
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
So like,
so Halo is really important to me.
Yeah.
I think, and I played all of them. I played every single Halo game. I haven't beaten all of them. I did not beat Halo Wars, but I beat all the FPS
Wars
games.
are the only ones I haven't played. The only one I've played that I haven't beat was 5. I never beat 5. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I beat 4. I don't know if I beat 4, but I know I did not beat 5.
I beat 5 because I took a day on campus and I skipped all my classes and I went to the game room, got the Xbox that morning, and I skipped all my classes and I beat the campaign through the day. I spent the whole day. I was like, I gotta beat that game. I want to know what happens.
And I had tired of waiting for a while.
And I plugged in my headphones so that I could hear everything and not have to hear other people talking and shit. Like I was logged in. I didn't even break for lunch or to use the bathroom because I didn't want to lose my spot. So like for 8 hours straight.
Like, hey man, come sit on this couch for 5 minutes.
But so here's my understanding of what's going on with Halo Infinite.
Okay, real quick before we get into that, I want to give my side of the story, right?
Oh yeah.
I was lucky enough. This is the only time I'll say that I'm lucky enough for my brother. I have a brother who is 5.5 years older than me, and he had an Xbox. So I played Halo. Well, I watched him play Halo, and then after he beat it when he was not playing the game, I played it. So I played Halo. Then I played Halo 2. And I think that, like, looking back, I think Halo 2 is my favorite Halo game.
Really
Halo 2 might be, like, Halo 2 probably top 5 FPS for me.
It's really good. I have a copy of it.
Yeah, love Halo 2. Halo 3.
I'm sorry.
Incredible game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna lie. I think that Halo 3 should have been the absolute end of Master Chief's story. I feel like you can use Master Chief, tell stories before that. You know, like tell his story on Reach, which we got Reach eventually, but it wasn't about him. I think that should have been the end of him. I wasn't crazy about 4. I was getting less crazy about 5. But Halo 1 through 3, like, as far as story goes, peak first-person shooter. Love them. Can't wait for Infinite.
Oh, so
Infinite looks incredible.
Bruh. And here's the deal, man. Like, I love Halo so much. Like, I still have that Xbox.
Yeah. And
I still play it pretty frequently. And I don't just play it. I go back and I play, like, all the Halo games. In fact, I actually hold this is an unofficial record. It's unofficial because I never played it on PC and I never had a way to record it through the PC, but I timed it. Cutscenes included. Not cutscenes, but like loading screens or loading included. I would rank in the top 100 Halo speedrunners.
Nice. For which game?
For Halo Reach.
Reach.
At an hour 45 and some change, I rank, because I know it goes up to like an hour 50 in the top 100, but I rank in the top 100.
Nice.
For Halo Reach speedruns.
Hell yeah.
Fucking love Halo.
You should record that.
I should. I've recorded it like on my phone. Like I've recorded it on my phone, but like it, and I've timed it, and I've like got the timestamps and everything. But one day, now if I ever decided to record it again, I'm gonna like practice for like a month beforehand to really hone in, because I tried speedrunning like a couple months ago, and I was sloppy, and I was like, oh, I'm missing all these jumps that I used to do with my eyes closed. I just knew where it was. I timed it, but anyway, Halo is like one of my all-time favorite game franchises, and I'm with you. Like when I first played Halo 4, it was one of those things where it's like I was so caught up in my own hype and my nostalgia
that
I was overlooking some of its flaws. Even ones that I immediately noticed.
The Phantom Menace. A new Halo game, it can't be bad.
Yeah, and
it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It's good. It's a good game. And there are parts of it that are great. Like the relationship between Chief and Cortana is like peak Halo relation. You know what I mean? Like that it gave me a lot of what I wanted there, but it lacked in a lot of other aspects. Like it felt too clean. I always felt like Halo was a gritty game.
Yeah. And
Halo 4 felt very clean. Like all the edges were very sharp, and like even the reticles were like crosshair sharp, and I'm like, and they felt square, and I'm like, Halo's round and organic. The whole thing about Halo is that it's an organic feeling, you know. And when I went to go see these Forerunners in the Halo trilogy, in the previous Halo trilogy, they were bronze. They had a lot of bronze and brass looks to them, which I thought was really unique to other games and sci-fi fiction that has like the blue and the shiny. It was like bronze and matted. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And then Halo 4 comes out, and it's blue and shiny, and I'm like, that's not Forerunner. Like, what is this?
So Halo Infinite, though.
Okay. My understanding is that it is a soft reboot, not in that it retcons Halo 4 and 5, but that Halo... that it retcons some of the things that happen in 4 and 5.
Okay.
Like, it's... And also in like a design wise, like it's more of like getting back to basics. Like the armor design is like a mix between the first one and the first trilogy and the new trilogy. And I love the new design so much. I'm like, this is the Halo design that I thought 4 was gonna have, where it was like upgraded. So it's not the same. It does look, you know, upgraded for a new age of console. But it doesn't look just completely different. If you look at Halo 3 and Halo 4 Master Chief armor and put them next to each other, it doesn't even look like the same armor.
Yeah.
And people were kind of upset about it, so they retconned. Originally, they did not have an explanation for this. They retconned and said, oh, nanobytes is how she did it. She used nanobytes, Cortana, to upgrade his armor. And I'm like, wait, wouldn't she have had to unfreeze him to do that though? Because he's frozen, so the nanobites can't get in there to do that because it's frozen. So and they can't move because they're frozen still. I mean, you know how like if they can move at all, he's gonna wake up because it's not frozen enough.
Maybe they have a smaller freezing temperature. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not a scientist.
I mean, neither are the people that wrote the game.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whatever, you know, it doesn't look as good as the old one in my opinion, but whatever. The new armor look comes out and I'm like, this is Halo. The new like facial looks, like the way that people look in this game is like, that's Halo. That's not Call of Duty. That's not Titanfall. That's Halo. It's getting back, to me it feels like it's getting back to its roots. And from what I understand, it's like an open world Halo game. And I'm like,
yeah,
yo, I can explore the ring? Is that what you're telling me? That's what I've always wanted to do. Like, as a kid growing up and playing Halo, I would like go into like multiplayer maps and just walk around and look around. Like oh my, I would I would be playing the campaign and I would just stop what I'm doing to look up and see that I can see the ring forming above me through the clouds. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just get in a Pelican and fly around, you know? And now it seems like this game actually lets you do that, kind of. I mean, you obviously, there's boundaries, but you have a little bit more freedom. And the gameplay looks very organic. It feels like Halo. And I think that it's a soft reboot in that it's kind of visually gonna be different than the last two, and it's gonna change a few things from the last two. Maybe there's gonna be some continuity errors, but I think that this game is gonna finally be the Halo we were promised that was supposed to come out in 2012, just almost a decade later. But I'm really excited, and the truth is, I'm buying an Xbox just to play Halo, and damned if I feel like that's a bad economic decision.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Great economic decision.
I'm doing it.
Fantastic.
I cannot wait. I did not expect that we were gonna go off talking about Halo, but God, I fucking love that series. It's
pretty awesome.
It's my first or second. It's probably my first favorite franchise. The second being Infamous. Those two for me are like,
Infamous is
and that's what sucks is because they're both console exclusives for two different consoles.
Yeah.
So I like just shelling out money left and right.
Mine is absolutely Metal Gear Solid.
I have never played a Metal Gear Solid game.
They're so good. Do you like stealth?
You know, here's the deal. I don't like stealth games, but for some reason, whenever I play like an FPS, I always choose the stealth option. Maybe it's just because I'm a big fat pussy. but like I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now. I'm doing another playthrough, and every time I have to take over, liberate a facility, I always go in with my silenced pistol and pick people off instead of just rolling up guns blazing. So
that's what I've always done. I always try to be as stealthy as possible, and then fail. And
but games that force me to be stealthy, I don't like. Games that force me to be stealthy, I'm like, what if I want to go run and gun? You know, I don't know. I should give it a shot. I really should. Yeah. Jason has like the collection. He's wanted me to play them forever so we could talk about them.
They're great games.
I want to get it. I have the OG like PlayStation. I want to get like Metal Gear 1 fucking on my PlayStation.
I played Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PS1.
Dude, I had that. I want to get it on the PS1.
All like 3 or 4 discs of it, I think.
Was there 4 discs to that one game?
I don't think it was 4. It was a couple.
Were there multiple discs to that one game? I didn't even know that was a thing that happened in the OG PlayStation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Final Fantasy VII was, I think, 3 discs.
Well, Gran Turismo had 2 discs, but it's not a story game. There's no story game in Gran Turismo 2.
But
although my favorite racing game is Gran Turismo 2.
I don't know if I played Gran Turismo 2.
Dude, the opening song, like the opening to that game, like, 'cause a lot of those games they have like, it's like Smash Bros. Having like an opening.
Yeah.
The song for that one, it's really fucking good.
Hell yeah.
And like even on the PlayStation, like every time I boot it up, whenever I play that game, I never skip it. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, that's a good one. I'm trying to think of. So recently was the Steam Summer Sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a lot of games.
Is it over now?
Yeah, it's over now. But today, the PlayStation Store Summer Sale started.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
I need to get the new fucking Chivalry game.
Yeah, Chivalry 2.
How much is it? 43, 40?
I'll look it up. Probably not 43. That's a weird number, but
or 45, 40, 45. I mean, I've seen games for 32 before, so
let me see.
This is
Chivalry 2 looks awesome.
This is why we need Graham.
Yeah.
Okay. in the meantime.
It actually has different prices.
Oh.
For Xbox and PlayStation, Xbox One and PS4, it is $30. For PS5, it's $35.
That's kind of... That doesn't sit well with me.
Whatever. But
I guess you paid for the better updated graphics, I guess.
Yeah, it looks super cool. I want to play that. I got this game called Crosscode. It's like a action RPG puzzle platforming twin stick shooter game. It's a lot of shit packed into one. Really fun. Very frustrating. I just beat the second dungeon, and the last couple rooms of that dungeon were not a fun time.
Oof.
It was rough. But I beat it.
What game is that?
Crosscode is what it's called.
Crosscode.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that game.
It's cool. I picked up Crosscode. I picked up, I'm a big fan of Stardew Valley.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up a game that's like Stardew Valley. It's like a life sim where you, but instead of building a farm, you tend a graveyard.
What's the name of that game?
It's called Graveyard Keeper.
I think Ricky was Ricky were telling me about that game.
Probably me. It's pretty cool. I haven't had a lot of time to play it. I've only probably got 2 sessions in on it. But really fun from what I've played. Need to play more. It's just there's a lot of stuff to do, and it was a little overwhelming the last I played. But I'll go back to it eventually for sure. See, I got that. I got Psychonauts, which is really cool. I got a game that wasn't on sale called Dark Deity. It's like a turn-based strategy game inspired by Fire Emblem, which I love. That game is pretty good. And I know I got something else.
You know that feeling of looking back on a game and remembering all the times you played with your friends and getting nostalgic about it? I live in a constant state of that because the thing is this has just always been the case with me. I'm never able to growing up it was either financial reasons, mostly actually growing up it was only financial reasons, but I've never had the newest stuff. The only time I ever had the newest thing is a few games that I got on launch, and Halo 4 being the biggest one that I ever got on launch because I had the console too. Yeah. But I got other games on launch when they come out, but I'm always behind the times as far as getting games. I had a PS4 back in 2017, and then I sold it to make rent. And then I bought another one.
I've been there.
But after I got a decent job now, so after I got my new job, I bought another one last year, and so I'm playing all the games I never got to play that everyone else already has played through, and I'm playing all these new games that I'm always going back and playing the older games. That's why I keep hold on to all these old consoles. Is that I always go back playing Smash Melee or playing Halo 2 or 1 or 3 or whatever. I was playing Halo 3 last week. I always go back and play these old ass games, and I'm never on the current game. I've been conversation we were having before we did the podcast tonight. I was talking about Far Cry 5. You know what I mean? And Far Cry 5's been out for 4 years now.
Has it?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Damn.
It came out while I was living with Jason. I'm pretty sure, or at least around that time. Way. Yeah, because dude, I remember. You know how I know? I used to the soundtrack hadn't been released on iTunes or anything. But on PlayStation 4, you can get the background for your home screen, and it had one of the songs playing that I loved. So I would leave my PlayStation on overnight so I could listen to it while I was going to sleep or whatever, because it was very soothing. And that was when I lived there. So it was either that year or leading up to that release. So yeah, back in 2017 it came out.
Damn.
And dude.
Yeah, I guess we are due for 6, which looks cool.
Yep. And because it's they finally took some time to release games not a year after each other.
Yeah, thank God.
But man, I still, and I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now again because I just love that game. I just find myself going back and playing these old games. I never play games when they first came out. I always play them 4 years after they come out is when I really get into them. So I'm always in this state of nostalgia because I'm every time I'm ready to move, all the games that I play, it's usually when I start them, there's still a community there, but I'm always at the very tail end of that community. Yeah. So I'll be playing. When I got World War II, Call of Duty World War II, and when I first got it last year, there was a whole lot of people still playing it, and now it's very dwindled. And so every year, every time I get a new one, I'm I get a lot of fun with it, and then it starts dwindling down. I get that, I start getting that nostalgia of all the times I had with people, but it was like last year, so I'm like always in that fucking mind frame. So,
man, I'm trying to think of like games coming out this year that I'm really looking forward to.
Is Halo Infinite even coming out this year?
I think it's next year.
God, they keep pushing it back. It was supposed to come out at launch.
Yeah.
But you know what? Take all the fucking time you need.
Yeah, for real.
Give me another great Halo game. We have not had a great Halo game in over a decade.
I wish more people felt like that, because people not feeling like that and people not having that mentality is, in my opinion, the reason Cyberpunk was bad.
I was about to say that. I don't know if it was bad. I mean, I had fun.
It was the reason that game wasn't what we wanted it to be, because
I still haven't beaten it. I need to beat it. I have not. I know you beat it multiple. I haven't even beaten it once, man. I want to.
I thought the story was going to be longer. It is not. It is a pretty short story. But like, I kind of like that because it just gives it more replay value. Like, you don't have to devote so much time before starting a new character. Mm-hmm. And I have like 5 characters. Really fun. It's a really fun game. I like it is
a very fun game. It's very nice to look at when it's not glitching.
When it's not glitching. But,
dude, I mean, I can't. Dude, when I was first playing that game, I caught COVID right before the release.
Oh,
of that game.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking forward. I even bought, like, the pre-release. I have the necklace. Like, I was, like, really excited about it. I have the map of the fucking... And then I caught COVID, like, 5 days before the release. And so, like, I had to go... my dad also caught it at the same time. Either I gave it to him or he gave it to me. So I had to travel home and stay with him for a month. And I missed the release. But my mom came up to visit my sister up here in Florence. So I called her and was like, hey, can you stop by the GameStop and pick up my game for me, and when you come back down, drop it off at the doorstep so I can play it. And she did. My mom was a trooper. She was on that shit. And I picked it up, and then for the whole month I played the game. But like, dude, it was like once every like 2 hours the game would like I would get the error message for the game, and I have to restart the game, and I'm like, bro, oh my god. But like, outside of that, I was having the time of my life. But inside of that, I was like, oh my god, I just want to play the fucking game. So, some bad glitches. I never had any glitches of like, I saw videos of people having glitches where like characters were like flying in the air, and
I had some of those.
I never had any of that. I just had the game
one
messing
glitch
up
where my
pants
didn't cover my penis. So I was just walking out with a cock out the whole time.
Sun's out, guns out, baby.
Yeah. But let's see. I'm not really. Oh, what did you do?
That fucking sucked.
I don't know.
The goddamn coaster flip didn't like. It stuck to it and then fell off.
I don't really know what all's coming out this year that I'm looking forward to. I think like next week the new World Ends With You game comes out, and I will be getting that, but I'm not gonna get it on launch just because I have like other things I have to pay for with this check, so I won't be getting it on launch, but I will be getting it eventually. I played the demo, pretty fun demo. Let's see, what? I can't believe this is like the first time in my life where I'm just like, damn, what's the next game that I'm looking forward to?
Has there ever been any news about another Infamous coming out? I don't know.
Not that I know of, no. I'd love a PS5 one, but I don't know.
Wouldn't it be great if Cole McGrath like had another game? I know he doesn't need a story.
Yeah. Please don't bring Cole McGrath back to life.
But man, I would just love another Cole McGrath game.
It'd be nice. Oh, bro.
The
Nickelodeon All-Stars game, the Smash Like Nickelodeon game. I cannot wait to play Reptar.
Do we know what console that's? Is it going to be on both consoles? It's going to be on
all of it. Yeah, like Switch, Xbox.
Is Dora going to be in the game? Did you said you made a joke earlier. That was me. You made a joke earlier, and I couldn't tell if you were being serious.
I was just joking around.
What if she is?
I'm not saying that she's not going to be in the game. They haven't revealed the whole roster.
Hey, no. Here's what you do. You make Dora like a Banjo and Kazooie style. Like Boots is the Dora and Boots, if you will. Don't do that. But dude, who all is gonna be in that?
So like, we know that Michelangelo and Leonardo from TMNT are gonna be in it. We know Reptar is gonna be in it. We know 2 characters from some show I've never seen, like Odd House, Big House, something like that.
Okay. Is Jimmy Neutron gonna be in it?
He hasn't been revealed, so we don't know. I think it said Reptar. SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy are in it.
What if Timmy Turner's in it, but it's like the Pokemon trainer, so he's standing in the back of the arena with like his two like fairy godparents
to be like a Pokemon trainer. I want the Pokemon trainer to be like Drake and Josh, where like Megan's the light, Drake's the medium, and Josh is the heavy. That would be fucking hilarious.
No. Here's the deal, though. They cannot cartoonize them. What they need to do is make like the old school 8-bit looking versions of them. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like they just take their picture, and it's like there's only a few images of them moving, but that's what they use.
Oh, Nigel
almost make it look
Thornberry's
real.
in it?
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Nah. Oh, dude, is his I
hope so, dude. Oh god, I hope so.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Dude, that'd be crazy. I think also Cat Dog saw that you told me about you can see the silhouette.
So yeah, they showed the box art with silhouetted characters, and people analyzed it, and they think that one of them is Cat Dog. But apart from that, about fighting games and stuff, buddy of mine on launch got that new Guilty Gear game, Guilty Gear Strive. We've been hanging out. I've been playing it. And usually I don't really give a shit about fighting games. That game's really cool.
Well, actually, it looked pretty cool. My biggest...
I downloaded... playing that, I fell in love with a character named Potemkin, who is this fucking unit of an 8 feet tall... He's fucking huge, and I don't know if he's part robot or if he's in a suit, because I don't know shit about the lore for Guilty Gear. I know nothing about it, but from what Gran told me, he's a slave to some evil German guy or something like that. I don't know, but he's a grappler, and that's my go-to for fighting games is grappler characters, and his command throw in the game, or his command grab, does just under half of your HP. Yeah. He's got a strong command grab. I don't know tier list where he is, because I don't know anything about that game, but Potemkin's fun, and I liked playing that game so much that today I went and re-downloaded on my PC Skullgirls. I've been playing that. I've been playing Beowulf, who is awesome. There's a guy I was showing you the pro wrestler with the chair, and all of his moves have to do with throwing the chair and getting the chair. But it's so cool. I like him a lot. The game's fun. I get bodied every time I play against Big Band because I have no clue how to fight Big Band, and he just keeps hitting me. I can't stop him.
You know what? Fuck it. They need to make every company that has any kind of actual stake, needs to make these fucking all-star games. DreamWorks needs to do one so I can play as Shrek with the chair.
Bro,
and
give me a Cartoon Network one so I can play as oh shit, what's his name? It's the brain in the jar on
I think he's just called the brain. I'm pretty sure. Was he? I think so.
I'd love to play him.
The Teen Titans can be in it.
Bro, Samurai Jack? Are you kidding me?
Dude, that could be money. Cash.
Yeah.
Wait, how is Aang? Dude, they gotta get the Last Airbender in this.
The gang has to be in the game.
Has to be in there. But on the Cartoon Network one though,
yeah, I can imagine Sokka playing kind of like Link. He has the boomerang and the sword and shit.
Dude, Grimm in the Cartoon Network one would be great.
Yeah.
What else could be great in that one? Oh my god. Huh?
K&D.
Oh my god, dude. They could even do Adventure Time. He could be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flapjack. That'd be a good one.
Ooh,
that'd be a good
Flapjack.
Chowder. Yeah.
More specifically, Schnitzel.
Yeah, dude. The heavy. He'd be heavy. What about Oh, now you got my brain just fucking going. What are they? Dude, the Powerpuff Girls have to be in it.
Oh, of course.
Dude, I would totally play as the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, absolutely.
And no, you can switch them out.
Yeah.
You can switch them out, dude. Or maybe it's one character, but you have the skins for all of them.
But hey.
Yeah.
Mystery Inc.
Dude, if I can play Shaggy, make him the most open. Hey, make Shaggy purposely the Meta Knight of this one, where he's banned and everything, but you can pick him if you want to for fun.
Yeah, I'd love some Johnny Bravo in there too.
Johnny Bravo would be great. He'd be good. Dude, Cartoon Network had a lot of just fucking amazing shows back in the day.
Cartoon Network was the was the shit back when I was growing up,
mm-hmm,
dude.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There was Nickelodeon's the stuff I watched, during the day when I got off school and there's nothing really else on. Cartoon Network was the stuff where I was, like, weekly, like, hey, 9 o'clock on Friday night, the TV's going to be on Cartoon Network because Total Drama Island's coming out with another episode.
Oh, Total Drama Island. Holy shit, dude.
Dude, that show can have.
I blame Cartoon Network for me like having a thing for goth chicks. That's all Cartoon Network's fault.
Okay, I'm glad we're in the same boat on that one because I was always like, bruh, she's gotta win. Gwen's gotta win.
Gwen, Raven,
dude, Raven.
Yeah, I had a huge crush on Raven when I was a kid.
Honestly, they could have made a whole fighting game off of just the Teen Titans show alone, with just how many characters there were, and I would buy the shit out of that if they came out with that today. Which, by the way. When are they gonna I would love another reboot of that show where it's that fucking or where it's that show where it's not the fucking Teen Titans Go, because that show.
I need to watch the last season of
make another season because it got canceled. Canceled. Make some more seasons of that version of the show.
I'd watch it.
It's like Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack season 8 was a massive success, and that dude, Samurai Jack's so fucking good. Oh my god, dude, I fucking love that show. What else was there that came out in fucking Cartoon Network that would be good for Battle Royale? Not Battle Royale, fucking All-Star game. Smash-like, as if you will.
I'm just stuck on the K&D, honestly.
That's a good one. Do you think that they would be like their own individual characters? And also, K&D's another one of those where they just had so many characters that they could just keep going. I do think there's like specific characters from that would need to be into I think Kree would be a good fighter in that game. I think it was like number 264 or whatever his name was. He was like, they had an episode dedicated to how just cool he was, and then he turned 13. Yeah. But he was a secret agent the whole time. Dude, that show was actually really deep for me, awesome. Dude. I gotta know that one.
Eduardo.
Oh, the Foster's Home, dude.
Yeah.
I actually started rewatching that one I think when I moved into my new place.
No, bro. The character swapper, like Pokemon trainer. Eddie.
Damn it, that's so fucking genius. And let fucking Sarah or Jimmy be the ones fucking pulling them in. And dude, Ed and Eddie was classic. That was a good one.
It's on HBO.
Is it? I'm gonna check that one out, dude. My favorite episode of that one was when they went to the big city with just cardboard fucking skyscrapers.
Dude. No, my favorite one was the one where you know how all the episodes were like 2 parts, 2 episodes in one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
My favorite episode I think
15 minutes apiece. Yeah.
It was the one that was all one story. But it was like Valentine's Day, and someone shoved a hockey stick through a big paper mache heart that they made, and it was like a detective story to find out who did it.
Yeah,
that was a really good one.
I remember that one. I remember the Christmas one where he it was
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
It was fucking Rolf's place was frozen over, and it was the old country, dude. Rolf.
Remember the one where Rolf and Ed fought?
The son of a shepherd.
Pours the eel in the pants and swings it with fishes.
I remember when they were giving out. Dude, I remember when it was the business, it was just up. The whole business was just going up. The elevator went one way.
Yep.
If you use it once, it's over. Because it only goes up. And they just fall out. Jawbreakers being fucking 10 cents, and to them that's $1 million.
No, it was a quarter.
Was it a quarter? Hey, you owe me a quarter. Dude, that fucking show.
It was all
and then Eddie, dude, I'm telling you, there's so many fucking good. Dude, imagine
the Kanker sisters.
Dude, imagine an all-star game. Cartoon Network versus Nickelodeon, and it's one game. No,
too much.
No. Here's what you do: you make a Cartoon. Hold on, you make a Cartoon Network game. You make a Nickelodeon game, and then maybe a few years after both of those have been released, you make the versus.
Yeah, like Marvel vs. Capcom with them.
Exactly, and it would totally work. Can you imagine a fight between? Imagine a fight between. Imagine a good all-star game where you're fighting a Samurai Jack versus Aang.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking cool as shit.
And then Eddie versus Reptar. Are you kidding?
Dude, I mean, telling you, Nickelodeon. If Nickelodeon Cartoon Network, if you somehow, through the grace of God, Jesus himself, hear this podcast, do this, please,
Dan Schneider,
fucking do it. If you like feet, you're gonna make a whole lot of money. You can sniff as many feet as you want.
You sniff mine. I'll let him.
Dude, I'll let you suck on my toes if you make this game.
I'd be honored.
Dan Snyder comes to you like, hey, bro, I just heard through the grapevine, Chris Dewberry, that you have really nice feet.
I hope you like hair.
He's like, oh, this is the only kind I like.
I've seen Jeanette McCurdy.
Jeanette McCurdy, the fucking picture of her next to her boyfriend, an NBA basketball player. I was like, bro, there's no way.
Yeah. But all right,
Caleb, everybody like, that's a racist statement, bro. I just complimented his big dick. Like, don't like. I'm. If anything, I should be the one feeling emasculated. Like, he's the guy. He's the one with a massive penis. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm white.
I'm slightly below average.
I'm Caucasian as fuck.
So, today, Ricky told me about this new thing. He, sent me a link to this thing. He's like, yo, should I get this? And I was like, I don't know. What does it do? And he sent me a YouTube video that was, a review of it. There's this new thing called the Retroid Pocket 2 that is pretty much just an $80 emulator. Like portable emulator machine. It can play NES, SNES, N64, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced, DS, and PSP games.
All for the low price of $60.
$80.
$80.
And it comes with a lot of games pre-installed.
I'm thinking about buying that tomorrow.
Yeah,
I really am.
If my check, because I've got a couple of things that I have to pay for on this check, like bills and stuff. But if I have enough left over after that, yeah, I'm buying one tomorrow.
I'm going to Colorado in August, and I've got to book the hotel and all that tomorrow, Friday. So I'm waiting to do that first, just to make sure I can put it in the budget. If not, I'll do it next week. I just would hate for them to sell out.
Yeah.
But it looks really fucking.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Ricky, has his come in yet?
No, he bought it today.
Does he know? Do we know how long it's gonna take for it to get in? Because I know it's not an American company. It's China, right?
Yeah, it's a Chinese-made thing. I don't know.
All I know is it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah,
And if it's, I'm gonna wait. I'll probably wait till Ricky gets his in.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can find one, great. If not,
it happens.
It happens. But I would hate to order it, get in, and it's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So
the dude in the video talked very highly of it, and
he in the video over here making all that Chinese money
he made it very clear he was not sponsored, and he did not have an affiliate link that would give him a percentage of the purchase.
Okay.
So it was all his own opinion, and he
to be fair,
he's like, I also did not send this video to them to have it okayed before posting it. This is all me.
Now hear me out, Luke. You all should definitely get Raid Shadow Legends. It is
the
phenomenal.
best RPG of the
best
year.
mobile RPG. By the way, we are definitely not, me winking at Luke, not affiliated with. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he can say it. I haven't seen the video. He can say it though. But that being said,
the people that are sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends never say we are not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. They're always like, so the sponsor of this video is Raid Shadow Legends.
You get my point though. Is you could just you totally be like, yeah, I'm not affiliated with this Chinese company at all. Raking in Chinese dollars. I'm not affiliated at all. Trust me, buying that PS5. I'm not affiliated. New house in the hills. Nah, baby, I'm telling you. Right. But on some real shit, I'm gonna wait till he gets his in, and then I'll decide. It was tempting when he told me about it. It was it took some restraint for me not to immediately just get on the website and buy one now.
Oh yeah, they look cool.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, so let's move on from the video games into
very good topic.
Into some movies.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it came out today, but I watched the trailer today. There's a trailer out for I'm pissed. I'm just blanking on the name.
The Last Duelist?
No, the director.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, he's got a new movie coming out called The Last Duelist, which is based on a true story, apparently. Is it The Last Duelist or is it The Last Duel?
The Last Duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story, apparently.
I didn't know anything about this movie. I did not know this movie existed until today. In fact, during the session, he and I apparently both heard about it for the first time because I was I was waiting to tell him.
Yeah. He told me, and I was like, yeah, I actually have the trailer up right here. I've been waiting for after.
Dude, I was just bro, watch it. Dude, so when all I heard was the title, and I was like, oh, is this a sequel to The Duelist? But no, it's not. It's in fact not even in the same time period. This is medieval.
Yeah, medieval, knights and shit.
But crazy thing, Ridley Scott has 2 movies coming out, and both of them feature Adam Driver. I don't know if they both star Adam Driver, but he's in both of them, which is fucking awesome.
He seems like he might be the villain in this movie.
I couldn't tell.
Honestly, all 3 of the guys they showed in that kind of felt like the villain. Like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Adam Driver.
So what if she's the main character?
Yeah, and then
they're all around her being the bad. Either way,
looks cool. It's about based off the trailer. It looks like a woman is married to Matt Damon,
accuses Adam Driver of being violent with her. Or something.
I believe it was rape.
Was it rape? I didn't hear the word rape in the trailer.
Yeah, I read a thing. It was like trigger warning rape.
Okay,
so I think that maybe she has accused Adam Driver of sexually assaulting her in some way, and so Matt Damon like challenges him to a duel
to the death, for her honor and for revenge. And then I think Ben Affleck the king.
I don't think so, because when
is he like
Matt Damon in the trailer was talking to the guy about asking if he could challenge him to a duel, he was not talking to Ben Affleck. I think.
I know Ben.
It's super neat though.
It does look super neat. And look, dude, Ridley Scott. He's had some misses, but he's also had some of the biggest bigs of like cinema. So he either. I like Prometheus.
I liked the movie.
I like Prometheus. What? I think it is a really good movie.
I will watch anything with Michael Fassbender in it.
I think Prometheus is a really good movie. I don't think I consider it great, but I think it's really good. I like Alien Covenant a lot. I saw it in theaters multiple times. I think it's like beautiful too. Like if nothing else, when you watch a Ridley Scott movie, the whole thing's gonna look and feel grand. Mm-hmm. Like even when you watch like the movie had like Orlando Bloom was in it. He played a knight in Jerusalem, and it was during the Crusades.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. Edward Norton plays like the Leopard King. That movie.
Leopard King or the Leopard?
Leopard King. Sorry, the Leopard. I was
about to say, bro, he's got furries.
No, he definitely has spots all over him. But the Leopard King. I'm sorry. If you have leprosy, you're like one in like.
Don't apologize, dude.
Yeah. It happens. Okay, it really does. Anyway, I'm sure there's a vaccine for it. It is tragic, but I forget the name of that movie. It's but anyway, it looks grand, and the whole movie itself is okay. The director's cut apparently is amazing, but the regular cut is not. Yeah, right. I mean, Ridley Scott's a fucking visionary. I mean, he made Blade Runner, only one of my favorite movies. Only at least in the top 3 favorite movies of all time.
It's a good one.
God, dude, and it's crazy to think. What's crazy to me about these old ass directors is that like he made that in like '82 is when it came out, and it's 2021, and this is coming out now. Like, he's still here, and he's still making beautiful pieces of art. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's that, and then James Wan has a new movie coming out. What was it? I
don't remember the trailer. Honestly, the trailer. I think it was or Malignment or something, something like that. And the trailer itself was kind of generic for me. I don't know. We'll see. I trust him to make a good movie.
I like his movies, so I'm at least interested in this.
I think James Wan is a really good director that sometimes has bad writers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he struck gold with The Conjuring, with the 2 Conjuring films he made, because those are the best ones of The Conjuring, and both of them, it's hard for me to say which one I like more. They're both really good, and the writing was pretty good for those, but the direction is where it's the strongest. He is the best thing about every movie he's made.
Yeah.
He is the best thing. His direction and his vision is the best thing, but sometimes he has bad writers.
I don't know if it ever came to fruition, but I know at some point there was a lot of talks going on that he was going to do an Aquaman spinoff that was a horror film. I don't know if that's actually happening. I know it was talked about.
Well, I mean, he directed the Aquaman movie.
Did he?
Yeah, pretty sure.
That. Haven't seen it.
He did Furious 7. He did Aquaman. I mean, James Wan, he's one of those guys who made it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, anybody who's made it in Hollywood has made it, but he's one of those guys that, like, his directorial debut was Saw, and he put, like, everything he had into that, and it
paid off.
And it paid off. The film itself is so-so, but it's his direction that got him attention, because the worst things about that movie are the writing. The best things about it are his direction. Mm-hmm. And that's been, his whole career has been like that. I think it was called Dead Silence was a movie he did about the puppet, and if you open your mouth, the witch.
Did he do that?
That was him.
I didn't know that. That was alright.
His direction's the best thing about it. The writing is what struggled, and everything he's done everything he's done, he's been the best part of. And that's not to diss anything else. That's a credit to him as a director. Yeah. So I'll watch anything he makes. I haven't seen Furious 7. The only reason I haven't watched that is because it's part of a larger franchise that I just haven't had stake in.
Any of those? I haven't seen a single one of those movies.
The only one of those movies I've sat through from beginning to end, and I've done it multiple times, is Too Fast, Too Furious. Right. And I'm telling you, hey, I had that shit on VHS growing up. Too Fast, Too Furious was the shit.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
And he had no part in that, I'm pretty sure. I don't even think he produced it. But I don't think he had any part until the Furious 7, which is... So here's the thing about James Wan. The whole franchise was so-so, and then Fast 5 came out, it was okay. Fast Furious 6, it was alright. Furious 7 comes out, it like smashes at the box office, it smashes at critical score. It's got like at the time it came out, it had like an 85.
Damn.
Since then, it's down like a 79.
It's still not bad.
Still 79.
Above average.
And he's the director. Like I'm telling you, he's the draw. And so I'll watch anything that has James Wan name on it. I'll even watch Furious 7. I haven't, but I will. But like, I just feel like I wouldn't get the context of the whole film.
No, we gotta sit down and watch them all.
Listen, okay. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I am 100% down to sit down and watch any franchise from beginning to end with you. With you, I cannot make that promise to anybody else, but with you. You're my movie buddy. I will watch any franchise with you. If you truly said to me, I want us to sit down and watch every Fast and Furious fucking movie and critique them and talk about them.
But we also have to watch Hobbs and Shaw.
It's part of the franchise. I will sit down and watch them with you if you truly want me to. But I feel like you're just trolling me if you said you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll be entirely honest with you. I do not give a shit about that.
I'll watch Furious 7 for two things. Three things. I'll watch it because Paul Walker, it was his last movie.
It was, wasn't it?
Or one of them. It was his last Fast and Furious franchise, which was his baby, I'll watch it because it's his last Fast and Furious movie, and they put a lot of work into making that work.
Wait, which one's the newest one?
9.
Okay.
I'll watch it for him. I'll watch it for James Wan's direction. And I'll watch it because Ronda Rousey was in that fucking movie.
Was she really?
She was. She played a bad guy or something. No. Look, I think Ronda Rousey's fucking hot. Hot. Now, she ain't the hottest one of all the UFC fighters. Hey, listen, bro. I'll look, anything. Look. Anyway, I'll watch it for those 3 reasons. I will watch that movie. And that's about it. Outside of that, I'm not going to watch any of these other Fast and Furious movies. Except for the second one. And I would watch Tokyo Drift. Just because, like, it has Lucas Black in it, and I like him. But Too Fast, Too Furious, man, I'm telling you. That one was like that one in Tokyo Drift were the last ones that were like, hey, we're just here for the fast cars and good fun. Mm-hmm. Fast and the Furious, which is the 4th one, was from what I saw and heard, it was, it kind of started elevating to progressively get to where now they're eventually in space.
Yeah. What?
Don't worry, bro. Don't. What? Yeah. Hey, how do those car windows hold up to space?
And see, here's the thing.
I didn't know my car window. What? I did not know my car window could hold up to literally like space.
No. But see, here's the thing. I saw an article today.
Yeah.
Where Dwayne Johnson said he won't be in the next 2 Fast and Furious movies.
Bro, Dwayne Johnson's like the biggest draw at this point. Like him and Vin Diesel.
No, you missed it.
What?
There's gonna be at least 2 more.
Yeah, right.
How do they top going to space?
Dude, I cannot wait to see them drag racing on Mars. No, here's what they do. Hey, they get to a new planet, it just starts over. So as it starts over, it's just drag races and street races on Mars.
It's the same actors, but in like alien makeup.
Yeah, but it's literally just like it starts over. The whole franchise starts over. They do Mars, and then they'll do like Europa, and then Titan, and then some other planet, or they'll do a space station race. Like I don't know, but
oh my god,
dude, there's money. There's money in that. Anyway,
no, there's not. Shut the fuck up.
Are you telling me there's not money in that? Are you really telling me that? You telling me people?
I feel like people will watch the first one and then go, oh.
Dude, I feel like people watched the first Fast and Furious movie and went, oh. and look where we are. I'm telling you, listen, I don't know if it's Warner Brothers or who the fuck it is, but hire me. I can listen. No joke. I am an actual serious professional like film writer. Please hire me, please. I need a job.
I am begging.
I need money. I can't buy this PS5 without you.
Anyway, fuck the Fast and the Furious.
No, don't. Look.
So
Too Fast and Furious is good. It's good. It's generic, but it's good.
Yeah. There's a movie coming out this weekend that we want to see, and a movie coming out next weekend that we want to see.
Yeah.
This weekend we got Old.
Dude, listen.
M. Night Shyamalan.
So, I can go off on a whole thing about M. Night Shyamalan, and not in a bad way. Like, I mean, I could go off in a bad way, I guess. He's made a lot of really bad movies. But people forget just how many good movies he's made.
Yeah, you don't make that many good movies on accident.
Exactly. So, like, he made... In fact, the movie everyone says is his best movie, I would say is not his worst at all. It's a really good movie. It's not his best movie.
Sixth Sense?
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Everyone says it's his best movie. It's really good. It's really good. I've seen it. I have watched every one of his movies. Except for...
Lady in the Water?
Huh?
I
saw that one. I watched that one.
I've seen the last 9 minutes of that movie with no context and was so confused.
That movie is not good, but it's not horrible. It's just
is it
fucking
Paul Giamatti?
weird. Yeah, he is. We're gonna rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch it with you and watch it. I'm gonna be like, bro, okay, never mind. I take it all back. It's horrible. But no, I have not seen. I did not see The Last Airbender. I never watched that one.
I did. It's bad.
Is it really?
It's bad.
I've never seen that one.
The people that like hate on that movie don't do it out of spite.
I know.
They do it because it is bad.
I know that movie's
But
bad.
you know how like cool firebending looks in the show?
It doesn't look anything.
Well, like
no, my thing was the rock bending.
In the movie, they rock bending.
Earthbending, sorry. Earthbending. I'm
the movie,
sorry.
they have to do like
I just pissed
17 spin kicks and 14 front flips to shoot like one fireball.
We just lost 15 views. That's 30% of our audience.
Yeah. Let's be real. It's 130% of our audience.
the Earthbending, yeah. But for real though, like so he's made some really bad movies, but like he's made some great films. I would
Split's
say
fucking awesome.
Split is great.
I really
Unbreakable is great.
The Village.
You know what? I actually rewatched that one recently. I did in the last year.
It.
In the last year, I rewatched it, and let me tell you, that movie is good. It's actually really good. It's a good movie. It's a lot of the problem with The Village was the marketing behind it.
Yes. Remember, I think we were watching. I want to say it was a Chris Stuckman video where he was talking about M. Night Shyamalan in The Village.
I love Chris Stuckman
and he
so much.
said that like in a Q&A. Someone asked what M. Night Shyamalan's... Like, if M. Night Shyamalan... They asked M. Night Shyamalan, if you could change one thing about your career, what would it be? And he went on, like, a 20-minute tangent in the middle of a Q&A, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
To spend that much time on one question in a Q&A. If he went on, like, a 20-minute tangent about how he wished he had marketed The Village.
And it was immediate. It wasn't like he had to think of... He was like, no, I would change the marketing of The Village. And... Because, dude, look... The Village actually really... In fact, I mean, there's no movie that could be... There's no movie in which Roger Deakins is the cinematographer that's bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a good movie.
Is the man.
If nothing else, his cinematography can make the film good alone.
Yeah.
Like, if everything else could be shit, and it's like I could sit here and...
Have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
Listen, and Sicario, and I mean, let me just list off
Private
all the
Ryan.
movies in which he fucking deserts the Shawshank Redemption. I mean,
1918.
You know what I would? Do you know what I would give to be able to sit down, have a beer with him, and talk about cinematography in movies?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I would give somebody else's firstborn child.
I would give someone else's, not mine, because I don't know if I'll ever have one. But
well, maybe I would. I don't know.
I would give your first.
I would give my firstborn child to him and be like, raising him to be great. You know what I mean? But like,
and he'll be like into. I'm not gonna make that joke. Never mind.
All right, bad. We're gonna move on.
Yes.
So no, for real though, like M. Night Shyamalan, he's got a new movie coming out called Old. The trailers. So the problem with M. Night Shyamalan movies is that the trailers never do them justice because of just how weird and original he is. Like,
that being said, this is not an original film. This
is
is based off a short story.
Is it?
Yes. I don't think it's an adaptation of a short story. I think it is just based off of a short story.
Ooh. I did not know that.
I'll fact check that. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, but I will fact check that and tell you if I'm wrong.
But dude, listen, I saw Split like 5 times in theaters. I bought the movie as soon as it came out. That movie for me is an amazing film. It's probably in my top 20. I don't know where in that top 20. I haven't thought too hard about it, but in my top 20, Split. Unbreakable's up there too. Those movies kind of go hand in hand.
Okay, Old is loosely based on Sandcastle, the graphic novel by Pierre Oscar Levy, and Frederick Peters. Old features what have become Shyamalan's trademarks, building dread both present and existential as the supernatural begins to invade the real world. So yeah, it is loosely based on a graphic novel.
Listen, it doesn't matter what it is. Any chance to see an M. Night Shyamalan movie in theaters, I'm taking it. Yeah. Because, like,
but the last
say what you will about his movies that have been very bad. Like you said, you do not make that many great movies on accident.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. I said it for the longest time. People laughed at me. Like, legitimately thought I was trying to make a joke and be funny. In 2016 and 2015, when I was a new student at a film school, and I was like, hey, M. Night Shyamalan is gonna come back. Like, he can make a great movie, and I think he's going to do it again. And they actually, like, were making jokes. Like I'm not gonna list names on here, but people in the film department were making jokes, joking at me because I said that. And then he made Split, and I was like, "You can all suck my dick!" Like, I was like, "He did it! He did it again! I said it!" Dude.
I never forget.
Not The Village, but the Visit wasn't pretty. I haven't seen The Visit. Actually, that's another one I haven't seen.
It's okay.
There's two I haven't seen. I have not seen The Visit. I need to. But
I never forget. One thing that JP said that I took to heart is that he thinks that M. Night Shyamalan is one key creative away from being a non-stop powerhouse filmmaker. He says the only thing M. Night Shyamalan needs is a script editor.
Dude, I would love to be that part, dude. I could totally be like, hey, bro, I got you. Dude, M. Night Shyamalan, man, it's like, he is so fucking good, dude. Like, I watch his movies. I watch a lot of we both watch a lot of movies. That's what we do. And I find myself a lot of times like thinking like, man, this feels like a studio film. You know what I mean? And then I watch M. Night Shyamalan, or sometimes Tarantino, or I watch Denis Villeneuve. He's really good about being. It feels like a Denis Villeneuve movie. It's like these auteurs. It's like these films are clearly, this is a trademark for this person, and it's like I watch that movie and I'm like, I feel like these are choices I would make in a film, right? And I watch them and I think to myself, like, this feels like it doesn't belong in a studio. It belongs with me and my friends popping it in, and me and my friends only being the ones that have ever seen this, because it's like so different, and even shot choices and sound choices and story choices are like, this doesn't feel like a studio movie, and I love that. And M. Night Shyamalan has never felt to me, I haven't seen The Last Airbender, has never felt to me like a studio filmmaker. And like, I watch movies like Unbreakable and Split, and how he fucking put Split in the same franchise, the same universe as Unbreakable, and it works so well. And I feel like Old is going to be one of those movies, just kind of like, honestly, I feel like it's going to be kind of like Glass was, because Glass, when I first watched Glass, I was actually kind of disappointed. I didn't really get it, and even now I still have problems with it, but I rewatched it pretty recently, and I was like, you know what, I like the movie as a whole. I appreciated scenes. Honestly, the biggest problem I had for the movie was the climax. The climax was the biggest problem I had with that movie.
A disappointment.
I rewatched everything else, and I was like, you know what, I actually really like this movie.
I blame that not only on M. Night Shyamalan, I kind of blame that on a thing that happens a lot in American action films, where, like, it's the way they film and edit fight scenes sucks.
Like the way American movies do it?
Yeah.
Or action movies do it?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Some of them do. A lot of them do.
Because, like, what they'll do is, like, it's... The shot will be, like, they go for the punch. And then it cuts to right after the guy gets hit, and he's, like, reeling back. And, like, we never see the hit. Sometimes we do. But very rarely do we actually see the blow. And then you watch, like... the movies that Jackie Chan made before coming to America, where they do the opposite. What they'll do is they will show Jackie or whoever his adversary is going for the punch, and then the shot they cut to is a shot of him before where he was when they cut, delivering the blow. Mm-hmm. So it's like he's hitting here, his fist gets here, and then it cuts to when his fist is here hitting. And it's the way that we shoot and edit our action films that makes things like that. And I feel like Split's climax heavily suffered from that.
Well, that's why like Mission Impossible Fallout was so fucking cool. Is they did the same thing. If you watch I watched a breakdown of that, and literally they do the same thing of what you're talking about with like these foreign movies, where they cut. It'll be close to hitting, and then they'll cut, and they'll show it the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But the thing about like Split is that like there weren't a whole lot of not Split, but Glass. There were not a whole bunch of punches thrown. It was mostly just like pushing and shoving from the first person, and that didn't work. I'll be completely honest. I can save a lot of things about a movie, but that one is not really savable. It just was a mistake. They should have shot that differently.
Yeah.
They should have. I rewatched, and like I said, I rewatched it recently. They should have shot that differently. But the whole movie doesn't suffer because of that. The whole movie doesn't suffer. That's just a bad part of it.
You know what does make the whole movie suffer?
What?
That bullshit about the secret society that's thrown in the last 5 minutes of the film.
Again, script editor would have really saved that.
Yeah.
Let me hit that.
That was a yeesh moment right there for me, dog.
Yeah.
That happened, and I was just like, what?
Again, the whole movie as a whole is good. The movie as a whole is good. I just feel like a lot of people... What happened is they watched that movie, and I feel like
that film was very average.
Here's the deal. When I say good, I mean 60% or higher is
fair
good.
Enough.
I would say that movie's probably about a 67, 70, maybe.
Fair enough.
If I was going to judge it off of Rotten Tomatoes standards, probably a 70% is what I would imagine that film should be at. Maybe 65. But I feel like a lot of people who rated that movie, like, watched it, because, listen, that movie was hyped coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Split was a huge success. That movie was coming out. It was really hyped. People watched the movie, and they were very quick to go home, get on their computers, and type up their review. Or get on their phone and type up fan review or audience review. And their last impression was the stupid shit that happened at the very end. But if you really sit there and look at the movie as a whole, if you look at it in retrospect as a whole thing, it actually is good. It's just the very ending of that movie was dumb. And some of the shot choices throughout the movie, not even throughout, like in the beginning and in the end, were not good choices. But as a whole, I like the movie. I don't think it diminishes. I want to say I don't think it diminishes the whole trilogy, because technically that's the end of a trilogy. I don't want to say it diminishes the whole trilogy. But it is the idea of like we're never gonna get the answers to that secret society. I don't foresee M. Night Shyamalan making a fourth movie in that. So you throw in this secret thing.
I kind of hope he doesn't, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want another one. It was like the whole idea of like his, like they weren't the main characters. They were just the prequel to the main story. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they're definitely the main story. I would have much rather preferred the Beast and Bruce Willis just have it out through a whole movie, and Mr. Glass can be the puppet master behind the whole thing. That's what it should have been. And in a way, it was kind of that, but it wasn't. You know, like the Beast kind of gets Mr. Glass out, but I was like, imagine if Mr. Glass had like just escaped prison, you know? But anyway, Old's coming out, and I think that it's gonna. Cool. I think it's gonna be like that movie where like at first a lot of people aren't gonna get it. Mm-hmm. But then eventually, like, they'll look back and say, you know what, maybe I should have looked at it as a whole. Because M. Night Shyamalan just has this knack for throwing something at the end that doesn't actually fit, you know?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I don't know what the plot twist could be about Old.
I don't know. We'll see.
Because, like, they kind of give away what the story, you know, it's what it's about.
Yeah, it's like families go to the beach and their kids get turned into adults or some shit.
I'm afraid that ultimately the plot twist is just, it's all in somebody's mind.
Oh, God. I hope not.
Kids who don't want to grow up, imagine what it would be like to grow up very quickly.
Yeah. But apart from that, next weekend, The Green Knight comes out.
And I don't even know what that's about. I know who The Green Knight is. I don't know what the movie's about.
I am very excited for The Green Knight. It's my favorite Arthurian legend. So basically, it's about one day the knights of the round are all hanging out, palling around, when this dude comes in. Green skin, green hair, green armor, and a green horse. And he says, I want to play a game, a little bet with y'all. One of y'all will use my axe to cut off my head. And then, in a year and a day, you'll meet me at my castle and I'll cut off your head. And they're all just like, oh, that's ridiculous. We're not going to do that. And then Sir Gawain's like, actually, I'll take you up on that. He gets up, cuts the knight's head off, the knight falls dead. And they're all joking around. And the knight gets up, grabs his head, says, I'll see you in a year, and then gets on his horse and dips. And it's like the story of Gawain having to come face to face with his honor and having to go to certain death. And it's like the adventure on the way, how he gets out of it. It's really good. It's my favorite one. Can't wait to see the adaptation.
When does it come out?
Next weekend.
Next weekend?
30th, I believe. I don't know when I'll get to see it. I probably won't get to go see it that weekend because I have to work, but I'll probably go the Tuesday after, $5 movie day. I want to see it. Looks cool.
Stimulus Tuesdays, baby. Dude, I kind of miss Carmike just because they called it that. Now they don't call it that. I don't think they call it anything. It's just Tuesday.
Yeah,
you get
I think
that.
so.
But I love the idea of Stimulus Tuesdays.
But I think it'll be a fun little watch.
Dude, I was thinking about that the other day though. About how it's how can you say how old you are without saying how old you are? It's bro, I remember Carmike. Carmike's, films.
Bro, I owned a VHS player, but not ironically, it was before DVD came out.
Same. Dude, I had the TV that had the VHS built in, the little box TV that wasn't big at all. And I also had VHS. Look, right here next to us, sitting right here next to us, is my VHS DVD player. And we were watching the Indiana. We still gotta finish. I actually recently got the Indiana Jones trilogy on VHS. By the way, any of you people listening, if you are a fan, just know I love VHS movies, and you are welcome to send me any old VHSs that you don't want. I will take them gladly. To a good home.
To all the fans watching, if you have a PlayStation 5 that you don't want,
oh my god, dude, I'll gladly pay sticker price. No negotiating. In fact, honestly, in any negotiating, it has to go south. $350. How's this?
Yeah, I'll give you $200.
Dude, if somebody actually came up to you and was like, "Hey, I have a PS5 right here. You can see it. It's physically right there. $200." It's
I would be like, you plug it up and show me that bitch works first.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, you plug it up, show me that bitch works, and if it does, I'll suck your cock too. I'll give you a little double.
Make them toes curl, dude.
Dude, you get a happy ending, baby. Hey, look, $20 is $20, baby.
That's right.
Look at that. Honestly, he's like, oh, it's not necessary. No, I insist.
Anyway, so
fucking anyway, dog.
The review for tonight.
Oh damn, we're already at the review, aren't we?
Have we ever done a TV show before? Well, we did Invincible last episode.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I was like, I know we have, and what else before? I feel like we've done one before then. We've done documentary, movie, video game, TV show. Now another TV show. Musical. We've done a musical. In fact, not only on that podcast, we did a musical and 2 movies. That was a good one. That was the 4th. The 4th of July special was essentially just 3 movie reviews. Yeah, 3 reviews.
Fire. Anyway,
that was a good one.
Today we
didn't do one this year. We did not do a 4th of July this year.
Because you were out of town.
I was out of town. Well, I was at the 4th of July trip. We should have still done something.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Anyway, we'll do a 9/11.
Shut up. We're gonna review Loki on this episode. We're gonna review Loki season 1.
Mm-hmm. And first, what we'll do what we normally do is we talk about the show, our general feelings about it, and then we'll go into detail about specific aspects of the show that get a number review, a number rating, and then at the end of the review, we will culminate all of that into an average review, an average number that will give us our general feelings on the review. And I don't think they've ever been wrong. I think, like, every time we've done this, like, we've based numbers off of, like, cinematography, direction, writing, animation when it's applicable, all that stuff, and then we do the average for those numbers, and it's generally about out of 10 about how we feel.
You know what we should do on a future episode? Really off topic. We should do Into the Spider-Verse.
Man, that movie's so fucking good.
Yeah, I've cried every time I've watched that film.
I honestly,
the same scene.
Listen, I'll make a bold prediction now. I imagine that film is gonna have at least a 9 out of 10 on our overall rating. Because anyway, I can't think of anything bad about that movie.
Anyway, Loki. Oh man, that's a topic of the night.
Yes, it is. But now you got me thinking about Spider-Verse. Fuck.
Loki. the story is if you've seen Endgame. If you haven't seen Endgame, holy shit. But if you're not in the MCU, you're gonna hate this review. Just stop it now. Leave us an upvote. Comment about how awesome we are, and we'll catch you next week. I'll play the music video. Yeah, theme song. Anyway, so so in Endgame, remember that they went back in time to get some Infinity Stones, and then the Tesseract ends up getting knocked at Loki's feet. He picks it up and boops away. Mm-hmm. This show picks up then. Like
at that moment.
I don't mean like right after. I mean, we see that happen again. We see Tony get knocked down. We see the Tesseract land. We see him grab it, disappear, and then he winds up in the desert. And people show up and arrest him. The TVA, the Time Variant Authority.
Now let me just say this real quick, like on the spot. When I heard about this show, obviously, anything that's going to be Marvel, that's going to be coming out, I'm going to be hyped about. And or at least I'm going to be interested. I'm not going to say I'm going to be hyped. I'll be interested. Shouldn't have said that. I'll be interested. When Loki was announced, I was honestly kind of not upset, but I was like, really? Bringing him back. He died. This should be over. And I was like, what are they going to do with Loki? And I was actually, honestly, very skeptical. And then the first episode happened. And I was like, ooh, where is this going?
Yeah.
Because, like, I imagine they might pick up where that left off. Because I remember watching an Endgame, like, oh, what? And then, like, there was no scene in Endgame that showed what happened after that. And I was like, oh, where's that going? And when they said Loki, I imagined that'd be where it picked off. But I was like, oh, is it just going to be Loki doing Loki things? I had no idea that the Time TVA existed. Yeah. Time Variance Authority. I had no idea.
Marvel Comics my entire life. I'd never heard of them.
And I was like,
I remember we watched the first episode, and I was just like, did they just like make these guys up? And we looked it up, and no, they're in the comics. I had never heard of them.
And so I was like, okay. And I was pretty skeptical when these first like Marvel shows, the new ones, started popping up since Endgame, because you had Vision, WandaVision, you had Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter. I keep saying them backwards.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And then Loki. And I was like,
I honestly
okay.
think every show's gotten better.
Dude, I swear.
I think, and I know this is a hot take from what I've heard with people that I've talked to, but I think WandaVision was the worst.
Not saying it's bad.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a really good show.
Yeah, it's none of them have been bad. They've all been excellent.
I think a better way to say that is that like it was the least great.
It was my least favorite.
Yeah. But it's still
among the three incredible shows.
Yeah.
And then
very incredible.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was my second favorite.
And then
Loki, my favorite.
I mean, they just keep
there's
going
a
up.
very specific reason why.
Why is that?
We'll get to that.
We'll get into that?
Yeah.
Okay. So but anyway.
Brief overview of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets into the TVA, and, we find out that he's a time variant because he went against the sacred timeline that was written by the Timekeepers.
The Timekeepers.
These three godlike entities that have woven the natural timeline. So the TVA are these Timekeepers' police force, and they have arrested Loki for not following and doing what he was supposed to do in the sacred timeline, which is go and be killed by Thanos.
Yeah.
So the plan is they're going to disintegrate him. What's the word they use? Prune? Not prune.
Prune.
It is prune?
It is prune.
You're going to prune him, which is disintegrate him. So...
Now, hold on. We should say right here, we're getting into spoiler territory.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers
fully intended.
So the first spoiler that I'll say is about... Do you want to wait to talk about pruning, or you want to just let it go?
No, yeah. We're going to go start to finish.
Go ahead, then.
So, Mobius decides that he actually needs Loki's help. Mobius is one of the TVA detectives.
Played by Owen Wilson. Phenomenally.
Yeah, did fantastic.
Fucking love the show.
So he needs Loki's help to find another variant that is causing a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. And he reveals that this is another Loki variant.
Mm-hmm.
So Loki agrees to help, and they find out that this Loki... What this Loki is doing is this Loki is ambushing TVA members, killing them, and then taking these things they have that are pretty much prune bombs that like leak gas that disintegrate everything around them to kill branch timelines completely. So the problem is that they're having trouble finding where this Loki is hiding from them.
Mm-hmm.
And Mobius brings Loki in because, you know, who knows Loki better than Loki? And they find out, Loki finds out that this other Loki variant is hiding in apocalypses, in apocalyptic events with no survivors, so that no matter what she does, it won't cause a timeline branch.
Well, that's a spoiler. What they do, what Loki does. That is actually a spoiler. It's not the same Loki. Like, it's the Loki variant.
The Loki variant.
But the Loki variant is like, they're not all Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. Well, we don't know that at this point.
But you just said she. So that's
did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. The point is, he gets there, they find out where she's hiding, they go to catch the Loki variant, and it is a female Loki. Who goes by Sylvie.
Mm-hmm.
And when she shows up, or when they show up, she has a little confrontation with our Loki, the Loki we know, who will from here be referred to as the only Loki. It's Loki and Sylvie. And then Sylvie flees.
Or Tom Hiddleston Loki.
No, well, Loki and Sylvie.
Okay.
So Sylvie flees and Loki follows.
Mm-hmm.
And right before she flees, we find out that what her plan is she pretty much bombs the sacred timeline. She takes all of these pruning bombs that she has, she sets them to go off, and then right before they go off, she uses the TVA's technology to warp all of them to different locations throughout the sacred timeline, creating a bunch of different timeline branches. So they warp away, they get into a fight, and they end up on a planet that is about to be destroyed by like a moon falling into it. And they're trying to get off, and they have this like really touching emotional moment, and apparently that wasn't supposed to happen, and them having that very touching moment creates a branching timeline, and the TVA finds them again and arrests them, puts them in prison basically. And while they're on this planet, forgot to mention it, very important, while they're on this planet, they find Sylvie reveals to Loki that the TVA police are not people that were made by the timekeepers like they think. Mm-hmm. Turns out that everyone that works for the TVA is actually a variant that was kidnapped from their timeline, brainwashed, mm-hmm. and then made to work for them.
In Leighton's terms, they were all brainwashed to believe that they were literally created from the very beginning of their lifespan to where they are now by the timekeepers to serve the timekeepers. Yeah. When in reality, they were variants just like Loki, who were basically had their memories erased and were told that they are exactly what I just said, born. So less complicated, I guess.
Yeah, they get arrested,
mm-hmm.
and then Loki tells Mobius that this is the case, and Mobius like doesn't buy it at first, but then he does buy it, and he helps Loki and Sylvie escape. But in the process, he gets pruned. So Mobius is gone, he's disintegrated, he's gone. And then
heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah, I was destroyed. I was so upset.
Dude, when that happened, I'm like, no shit. I was like almost about to cry because I was like, dude, Owen Wilson.
I was hurt.
Owen Wilson, dude. That.
But anyway,
he never said wow.
You're right. He didn't say wow.
He never said wow.
But anyway, so excuse me. Loki and Sylvie go and find the timekeepers because Sylvie's plan is to kill the timekeepers. They get there, and I was convinced the timekeepers weren't real. I was like, the timekeepers are bullshit. They're not real. And then sure enough, they find the timekeepers. Then I was like, oh, well, fuck me. I was wrong. Big red herring, I guess. Fuck me. They fight off some guards, beat the guards, and then I think it was Sylvie, like, throws an axe and cuts the head off of the middle timekeeper. And then sure enough, they aren't real.
They're robots.
They're robots.
Androids. Yep.
And so it's like, holy shit, well, who made the timekeepers? They're fighting everybody.
This is the season. Then, this is the episode right before the finale.
No.
Yes,
this is episode 4.
No, that was episode 5.
No, it was not. No.
What?
So this is episode 4.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
This is episode 4.
Yeah, you're right.
And then after they're like, okay, so we have to find out what's actually behind all this now.
I should just.
And then there's another.
Real quick. I should just let you describe this from now on because I keep being like, oh wait, no, that's not, and it totally is because I fucking fuck things up. But,
so
sorry.
Another touching moment with Loki and Sylvie, and like it seems like Loki is about to tell Sylvie that he loves her. Mm-hmm. And then the leader of the police force of the TVA prunes Loki. So Loki gets disintegrated. The Loki that we've known and loved this whole time, gone. And then Sylvie disarms her and like kind of takes her captive, and she's like, you know, you're gonna tell me everything. End of the episode. Post-credit scene. Loki wakes up in a new location, and people are talking to him, and he looks, and there are other Lokis with him. There's a young Loki, old Loki, African Loki, and alligator Loki.
No, the African Loki was a version of Thor.
That was Thor?
That was a version of Thor.
That's confirmed.
Yeah, he had the hammer. That was a version of Thor.
He had the hammer.
And the same. As far as I know, that was a version of Thor, not Loki.
I don't know.
Unless I'm just wrong, but I feel like in the episode,
I think the whole point was that they were all Lokis.
I thought they said that was a version of Thor.
I don't know. Anyway.
You know what? Anyway. For now, we'll say it's a version of Loki.
Okay. Because I thought that was the whole point, is they were all Lokis. But anyway, so episode 5.
Sylvie. Did we say alligator Loki? Did we say alligator Loki?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Alligator Loki was the best Loki. He's cool.
It's
just an alligator. It's just an alligator with Loki's headband on.
I don't know. Old
Loki was pretty cool.
Dude, yeah.
So, episode 5, Sylvie actually prunes herself because she thinks that it doesn't disintegrate you. She kind of like figures it out. So, her and Mobius end up. She finds Mobius when she gets there, and then her and Mobius find Loki and they do stuff. But you know, Loki's hanging out with these new Lokis, and then a shit ton of other Lokis show up, and you find out that one of the Lokis is a traitor, and so alligator Loki, old Loki, and young Loki go with Loki to find this big storm monster. Do you remember what it was called?
I do, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a big living storm. And what it does is...
Did it start with A? Wasn't it
did.
A?
Aprion? I don't know. I'll never remember what it is.
I'm going to look it up while you look it up.
I'll tell you. So, basically, you find out when you're pruned, you're actually sent to, like, the end of time. Where there's this big monster that's a storm that consumes you. And the plan is... They are going to use Sylvie's enchantment power to enchant this storm, and then have this storm take them to who is the leader, to who is its master, and who is behind the TVA and the timekeepers and all that. They succeed. They enchant it, and then episode 5 ends with them like going through a portal to see what's beyond. So, Episode 6, we get past the portal. They are at like the space at the end of time. And they meet the guy behind it all. And wouldn't you know it, it's none other than Jonathan Majors, who, if you haven't seen... What's up?
The storm is called Eliath.
Eliath, that's
and
it.
And again, this is why I wish Graham was here. He totally fact-checked that for us.
So,
it was Eliath. Anyway, go ahead.
So, Jonathan Majors, who, if you do not know, has been cast to play the villain of the next Ant-Man film, Kang the Conqueror. Mm-hmm. You find out that he's... The character we meet is not Kang the Conqueror. It's just Kang. Mm-hmm. So
the good guy.
Yeah.
Wish he lived. I wish he lived.
He's called the one above all. Was that what they called him? No.
One at the end of it all or something like that.
Look it up. He has a title.
Yeah.
But you basically find out he says he's like thousands of years ago in like the 40th century or no, in the 30th century, I was a scientist. I found out that our universe was actually stacked on top of other universes, and I figured out how to travel between them at the same time that the me from those universes found out how to do that too. And for a long time, it was a time of peace and prosperity where we used our technology to improve the lives of Earth to improve... Go ahead.
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains, that's it. He used like all of the different He Who Remains, or we'll call him Kang. All the different Kangs. That's not his actual name.
Yeah.
But all the different Kangs found they used their technology to improve the lives of the worlds that were not as technologically advanced as them. But then eventually, like always, some of them were not good, and it was a multiversal war between all of the different Kangs to conquer all of the different universes. Mm-hmm. And eventually, Kang weaponized Eliath, won the war, and then created the universal timeline so that He Who Remains was the only Kang. He set up the whole sacred timeline, and the whole point was that, like, all of time has been written by the timekeepers, as the TVA said. And so, He Who Remains has actually written all of time, is what he tells them. And they try to attack him, and he's like, well, the reason you can't hit me is because I know what you're going to do, because I literally wrote it. And he shows them a script, and it's the script of what's going on. He's like, I know what you're going to do. I wrote this. You are doing what I want you to do.
And
this is what I have written.
He's actually a good guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
In fact, he's spending his whole eternity in this one place by himself because he's able to keep from the evil Kangs from taking over literally everything.
Yeah. So
that's important knowledge.
It's basically Sylvie wants to kill him because he's behind it all, and he tells them he's like I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually haven't finished writing all of time. We are actually about to get to the end of time as I have written it, and then past that, who knows what's going to happen. I'm tired of doing this. I've been doing it for eons. I'm tired. I want y'all to take over. Mm-hmm. And Loki wants to do it, but Sylvie doesn't. And so they had this big argument because it's basically she wants to kill He Who Remains. And He Who Remains is like, if you take over for me, you get to write time. You get to do what you want to do, and y'all get to be together forever. But if you kill me, then that means that all of the things I have done won't happen, which means that there will be an infinite amount of me on your planet fighting
for control
over who gets to control the planet.
Yep.
So
the good
either let me live and take over time yourself, or kill me and have to deal with infinite amount of me fighting. And Loki wants to do it. Loki wants to continue his work.
Which, for the record, I'm with.
Yeah. Sylvie wants to kill him. So they had this moment. Loki tells Sylvie he loves her. They kiss. They have a big romance thing, and then she uses the
TVA device,
the TVA like time travel thing to shove Loki into
the TVA.
Back to the TVA hideout, and then she kills Kang, or she kills He Who Remains.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he's just like, happens, dies. And then it goes back to Loki. Loki ends with the TVA. He goes and he finds Mobius. He's like, Mobius, yada yada yada, He Who Remains, there's going to be infinite yada yada yadas, blah blah. Just spews what's happened to Mobius. And Mobius goes, what division are you with? Hold on. Who are you? And then it like sets in that something's off. And then Loki turns and looks out at like the big lobby of the TVA, and where there is usually 3 statues of the Timekeepers, now is just 1 statue of Kang the Conqueror.
Let me tell you something, Luke.
And that is the end of season 1.
Let me tell you something, Luke. I'm so glad there's going to be a season 2. I really am. But I was very, very upset that season 1 wasn't 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, I cannot fucking wait.
Okay,
oh my god.
We'll get into one question that it raises, and then we'll move from that into the numbers.
Is that what we're doing? Because I got so much.
The main question that it raises.
This review is gonna be fucking long because I got so much to say about fucking this show, dude. Jesus.
So, the question is, did Sylvie send Loki to another timeline, or did the things that she did, or did her killing He Who Remains cause our timeline to be like that?
Actually, I was gonna say the first. I think the second one is the safer option, but I think the first one is true because in Avengers Endgame, the way that they have established their time is that there are different timelines, and like there is no one sacred timeline. There was, but there is not currently. What I mean by that is like if you do something in one timeline, it doesn't affect the other because they're different timelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means that there's at least one timeline that still exists, and that is the one in which there's at least one timeline in which that doesn't happen, and there is a Kang that is not evil and not the conqueror, but the one who like saves the universe.
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains.
Yeah, it was our timeline.
It was our timeline, or at least it was their timeline. And so there is a timeline in which that happens the way it's supposed to. Or at least all of this happens. All of this happens until the very end of the show, right? And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I think that, like, she sent him to an alternate timeline, or at least one of the billions of the ones in which Kang the Conqueror becomes the thing.
The whole point of He Who Remains is that there weren't multiple timelines. He destroyed all of those timelines to make the sacred timeline.
But I think because this happens, there are no longer any sacred timelines.
He's dead.
Since there are no longer any sacred timelines, there is at least, in my opinion, there's probably at least one timeline in which they did not kill him. They did not, or at least Sylvie did not kill Kang, He Who Remains. Killing
He Who Remains makes it so that Kang never became He Who Remains because of the time paradox.
There's always a paradox when it comes to time travel stuff.
That's true.
That being said, this show is so fucking good. God damn it.
It's really good. So, into the topics.
No, I'm still trying to understand the fucking timeline. I mean, I wish there was...
We could talk about this till 4 in the morning and
but hold on. Well, give me just a little bit longer, goddammit. I feel like we just got on this where I get to chime in, because usually this is what happens in our podcast. You'll be the one to describe the show, because you can describe things so much more eloquently than I can.
Thank you.
Because, no problem. My pleasure. Because I'll go off on tangents, and I'm scatterbrained. I'll go off and talk about a million different things. You're able to stay on task. Now it's my time to dive into the shit you just talked about, because there's so much to fucking unpack. This show is dense.
Well, one thing that I will say, my biggest disappointment in the show is that in episode 2, we find out that Mobius really likes jet skis, And I was like, how are they gonna work in him on a jet ski into this show? And the answer is they didn't.
Well, don't forget though.
Season 1 they didn't.
I was gonna say, don't forget the show was supposed to be 1 season, and then they split it to 2. It was supposed to be 1, and then made it at least 2. So don't forget that.
At least 2.
At least. But no, dude, this fucking show. Anyway, we'll start breaking down the numbers and stuff. But I honestly feel like the best part about like our reviews are when we just get to go off and talk about the things within the show or the movie or whatever we're reviewing. But no, this show is really good. Before we get into our numbers, we've already talked about spoilers. But if you genuinely are still here and haven't left to go watch the show, you really need to do that because the show is
you will have really good. A good time.
It really is good. I cannot wait for season 2. That's what I was going to tell you. Season 2, originally the show was supposed to be 1 season, but now they've confirmed season 2. Maybe we'll get to season 3, but I feel like we might get the jet ski thing. Especially since the media
if we get this entire series and he never rides a jet ski, I'm gonna be so sad.
The fan media has been pretty loud about that, so I feel like they'll cater just a little bit to have him on a jet ski at some point. If nothing else,
I feel like they wouldn't have brought it up if he wouldn't be.
If nothing else, during one of the episodes, he might be on a jet ski with a TVA like weapon or something and do something just on a jet ski, and we'll all be like, "Yay, there it is!" You know what I mean? And I will be.
But the thing is
genuinely
will it
content.
Be the same Mobius?
Listen, Owen Wilson is Owen Wilson. Mobius is Mobius. It's the same personality, just a different memory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same personality, different memory. It might get restored. Here's my biggest thing taken away from this that I was thinking about. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was thinking about. How are they going to have MCU films released in between this and season 2 when this changes everything?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to watch the new Spider-Man movie and be like, oh, yeah, it's a Spider-Man movie. Doesn't fucking matter because it's season 2. It's going to all get swift.
Will definitely address it.
Do you think so? They've talked about the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. We have...
But is it going to address Kang and changing the entire timeline?
It might not address Kang.
That's what I'm talking about.
It'll address the multiverse of madness.
But will it address the entire timeline?
We'll find out.
That's what I'm talking about.
You probably won't address it?
What? It probably won't address it?
Do you know what probably won't address it?
What?
That next one. What's it called?
What's the next one? What is that? Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. Dude,
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Yeah, I cannot fucking wait for that movie, dude. It's so fucking cool. Dude, I cannot wait for the action of that movie. That's like a weekend release review.
Yeah.
It's gotta. If nothing else, we'll get together and listen. There's nothing that says we can't get together and review movies just on their own.
That's true. Yeah.
But dude, I cannot wait, dude. That movie's gonna be so fucking cool.
It looks neat.
The action, it's either gonna be watched in theaters or illegally because I'm not paying Disney.
I'm not paying $30 to watch it on Disney.
No. Anyway, we're about to crunch the numbers. We're gonna start listing the numbers. We're gonna go through an official number for each category we choose. We'll go through them individually as topics, and then we're gonna crunch the numbers and get to our actual review or final score, I should say. All right, so we have our categories for this one. For this review, we're gonna look at directing, writing, cinematography, acting, design, editing, and the soundtrack. And all of those were represented by amazing poses by Luke.
I struck a JoJo pose for every one of them.
I
stuck in a Hulk Hogan in there.
I'm telling you. We might even include those in the edit for this specific review. Who knows? Probably not, but who knows?
Just as you say, just cut to a screenshot of a JoJo.
Is that? Look, I'm just saying. I could take pictures right after this.
All I'm saying is, we got them pictures. From our amazing friend Kaylin.
Yeah.
We need to start putting those in the podcast. Anyway, moving forward.
Those are for yeah. Well, we need to get new ones because I've lost literally 45 pounds.
I mean, we'll get more. I think we should do a photo set a year.
We do, because I've lost literally 45 pounds since we did this.
I've lost 32.
We are not the same looking since that we were at the time.
Yeah, I've also grown my hair out a lot.
Listen,
was that a year ago?
It was. And listen, I was in a relationship. What's your excuse? I'm joking.
What do you mean, what's my excuse? I've lost weight.
No. It's like we were heavy. We were like 30, 45 pounds heavier since then. And I was like, I was in a relationship. What's your excuse? Like,
I'm a fat fuck. Fat fuck, 178, fat fuck, whatever.
Anyway, let's get into these numbers. We're going to start putting these numbers to it. Let's start with the directing. I think, personally, the direction was great. Yeah. I think everything about it from like, because the direction encompasses almost everything. Because at the end of the day, everything is your fault as the director. Mm-hmm. And every grace is the whole studio's greatness, right? Mm-hmm. But I think there were very few faults in the show. And I honestly was a little bit surprised about how good it was. I think all the performances were well done. I think everything about the show was exactly what it needed to be. And I think the direction for the show was great.
Yeah, so Kate Herron, who directed it, did do a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. I think, though she was not given a feature-length film, I think she might be one of the best directors in the MCU after this.
I cannot wait to see her get... She deserves a feature film.
Oh,
yeah. Dude.
No offense to her. Yeah, she's no Russo Bros.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. She has not had a feature film that's gone theatrical.
But
for the MCU.
But among the three shows we have, as far as directing,
the best,
leaps and bounds above the rest.
And
I don't even know the name of who directed it.
Can you imagine a Loki movie with her directing?
Oh, I'd love
It'd be fucking great.
Yeah, imagine season 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't finish the story, and she gets a feature film to wrap it up.
I'm telling you, dog. Look, the direction was great. Yeah, genuinely phenomenal. There's honestly not really anything I could say that would add on to how good it was. Like, it was exactly what it needed to be. I reserve 10 out of 10s. I reserve 10 out of 10s for those where it's like literally they did it all. Every little bit.
10 out of 10 is literally infallible.
But like, and here's the deal. Listen, this is kind of bold for me to say, and I'm sure you disagree. I can't think of anything she could have done differently that would have been less than spectacular.
She wasn't perfect.
Was she not? I thought she was, dude. I had no complaints about the direction of her direction.
How I feel about this. There is no such thing as perfection. That being said, 9.5.
You give it?
She was damn good.
So if I give it a 10 out of 10, we'll go with 9.75. Cause like, dude, I genuinely don't think there's anything.
I'll give it a 9.75.
9.75. Okay. Hey, listen. There's no
such thing as perfect.
We have reviewed films on this channel or on this podcast by many different people.
Yeah.
This is the first 9.75 we've ever given to a director. Take that with stride.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're not critics. But
every filmmaker is a critic.
Yeah, but we're not like professional critics. The thing is, talk about how there's no such thing as perfect. In my opinion, the PS4 God of War game is the closest thing to video game perfection that Western culture has ever achieved. I can name ways to improve that game. I can name one big one. We'll not get into that. This is about Loki.
Well, listen, Loki. As far as the direction goes, I feel like there's just nothing else she could have done that would have made it a better direction. The direction was on point.
Quick little tidbit.
Yeah.
In the final episode, when they were in the space beyond time, an Easter egg was spotted recently.
What's that?
A spaceship floating. Theory crafters got a hold of that. They think that might have been our first little glance at the Fantastic Four.
Now listen.
Also, and furthermore,
this belonged like 20 minutes ago.
One of the characters in Black Widow is a mutant.
Which one?
One of the characters in the prison with Red Guardian is a mutant, but he was not as his mutant, so he becomes like a bear man.
By the way, we watched the Black Widow, but we're probably not going to review it on the channel.
It was okay.
It was okay.
The best part of the film is that Red Guardian has knuck tattoos that say Karl Marx.
Yeah, that's pretty
favorite
funny.
part of the film.
That's pretty funny. Anyway, writing
was spectacular.
I goodness, dude.
Again,
writing time travel is very fucking hard, and they did a really good job.
My only problem with the writing is that we didn't see Mobius on a jet ski, but season 2.
But again, Disney said that Disney had the ultimate control of making that a season 2 thing. We don't know if that's gonna happen.
I hope it does.
But season 1 was actually divided into 2 different seasons. So, remember that.
Fantastic.
Writing was fantastic. Again, 9 out of 10. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
I'd go with a 9.
I would say the direction, like writing, there's some things that could have been changed here and there. Very small things, which gives it a 9 out of 10 in my book. Well, hold on one second.
Go ahead.
Writing, because I know we're kind of like on top of each other here. Writing, it was like there were a few choices here and there that I personally would have said like, oh well, let's maybe go a different direction here and there. But again, those were like nitpicks. Overall, the writing is really, really strong. So I would give it like a 9 out of 10. The direction for me was just like something I would never change. I would not change anything about direction. I felt like the direction was exactly where it needed to be and where I wanted it to be. But the writing, here and there, maybe a line, maybe a choice, something. But it's still overall very, very great at 9 out of 10 for me.
So my thing is character development goes into writing. And there's 2 character development things that I love. And that is, one thing that you need to keep in mind about this is not the post-redemption arc Loki. This is not the Loki that attempted to basically sacrifice himself for Thor against Thanos. This is not that Loki. This is the pompous, arrogant, rule all of mankind Loki that we see in Avengers. This is that Loki before his main character growth. But even still, through this series, we see him grow into a character that cares about those around him and is willing to sacrifice what he wants to keep those people around and to do what's best for them. And also, one thing, they do a trope. It's a trope you see a lot, but it's a trope that I love, and it's the character who's completely devoted to a cause, then finds out it's a problematic cause and turns away from the cause. In Mobius, we see him go from someone who is all for the TVA and the sacred timeline to someone who finds out more about the TVA and kind of turns his back on it to help Loki achieve his goal of finding out what's going on and getting to the bottom of it.
Listen, 2 things. 1, Mobius is probably my favorite character. From his story to Owen Wilson's performance. 2, it's like a small problem I had with the show, but it also I don't mind as much, is how quickly, because even in the show, okay, I'll start from the beginning. How quickly Loki changes from this guy who literally just tried to genocide a planet in the first Avengers movie to the guy who cares about somebody else other than himself and is trying to do right by the universe. It does seem a little quick through the show, but even at one point in the show, just to reinforce the idea that time is almost irrelevant, like it could have been 4 years, and for us it's just like a couple of weeks or whatever. They even say in the show, like, how long has it been? I don't know. It could have been a couple of months at this point, right? So like he and as someone who's gone through a lot of life changes, it's like he could make those changes in his life personally, how he views the universe and how he cares about somebody else through a very short amount of time, the time that they presented. So what was a problem at one point for me, they remedied, which was like how quickly Loki went from the guy who's trying to genocide a world for the will of Thanos versus a guy who is genuinely cares about somebody else other than himself and wants to do right by the universe, and who is, tired of being the person who has done wrong and who has only looked out for themselves. He goes through a very good character arc, who at first feels kind of quick, but after the fact, and when you really look at it, it feels very genuine. Yeah. So again, writing, that's a big win. So
yeah, I'm done to meet you at the 9.
Dude, straight up, a 9 is good for me, man. That's near perfect. It's really good.
But speaking of, you mentioned Owen Wilson's performance. So let's talk about the performances in this show. They're great. Tom Hiddleston, I've never seen him do bad.
Ever. Yeah. I haven't seen the movie where he played Hank Williams. Haven't seen that.
Oh yeah.
But outside of that, I've only seen him do good. Even in movies where he's kind of a backdrop to the special effects, like the Kong movie, Kong Skull Island, he kind of just plays a mercenary, but he still is really good in that movie. So, Tom Hiddleston's class act, great performance.
Yeah, he does wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Another actor. So, I mentioned earlier that Jonathan Majors is in this show. Mm-hmm. We know him.
Yep.
From a little mini series that I adore, called Lovecraft Country,
which is not getting a season 2.
Yeah, it got canceled. Sadly.
I hate that, by the way.
Well, I mean, I'm cool with it because I think it worked well as the one season that told the story of the book.
I hate it,
but I'm cool. But it's a bummer, whatever. But there's also another
that's a different
actress
conversation for a different topic.
Lovecraft Country in this. I think it's Wunmi Masaku, who plays Hunter B-15. And
who?
Hunter B-15.
Yes, the sister in.
It's Jonathan Majors' character's sister.
Thank goodness she got in this one. It's fucking great.
She also did wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
She plays a character who is, again, meets the same trope as Mobius. She's very devoutly for the TV and the sacred timeline, and then when she figures out there's more to it, she turns her back against it to help them.
Great performance.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, dude. Honestly, can you think of one bad performance in this show? Like, even when we're looking at shows like Lovecraft Country, I can probably point out a bad take here and there.
Yeah.
I can't really think of one in Loki.
Yeah, no bad takes come to mind. That being said, I think Owen Wilson gave the best performance.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was followed by, though he was only in one episode, Jonathan Majors, dude, as He Who Remains. Yep. As wonderful.
As the good Kang.
Yeah, because we know that we know he's not Kang the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's just a Kang. And the whole thing of knowing what Kang is and who he will be, and then meeting this actor who's supposed to play Kang, I was like, oh shit. When he showed up, I was like, oh shit, Kang the Conqueror's here.
And he was nice guy.
Find out that it's not Kang the Conqueror. And he's just this like jokester, easygoing. And I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. They kind of turned me on my head there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
you find the twist,
which is a thing in the writing, but he sells it very well.
But it was a good writing because it's a twist. Yeah. It's a twist within a twist.
Not to keep on the writing, Kang has a line in the comics that is, "Go searching for the devil, and the devil he shall appear," and I totally fell for it. I thought he was gonna say it. He goes in the episode. He's like, "Well, go searching for the devil," and I was like, hey, he's gonna say it, and then he didn't say it, and I was like, shit, man.
Dude, and Jonathan, and listen, now, let me say this about Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki. Here's the deal. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
He plays Loki well, and not just Loki as in the Loki we've known. It's almost like they gave him the development that was needed in the show. Again, part of the writing, but also part of the performance. They gave him the development that was needed so that he could kind of pick up where the Loki in Endgame or Infinity War left off, where Loki was killed. That kind of emotional input that Loki had, the emotional output, I guess, that Loki had, where he was like starting to become good. He had that growth as a character very quickly in the show. Whereas in the movie series, it took a long time. It took
pretty much the whole franchise.
But in the show, they kind of covered that by showing the flashbacks, and Tom Hiddleston performed it very, very well. I mean, really, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There was nothing wrong with it. Nothing that was like stood out as in like this Loki is the greatest performance I've ever seen, but really good. Yeah. I mean, just like don't listen to this and think this is like a baseline Loki. Like he killed it as the role, but it wasn't something that I was just like, oh yeah, if he doesn't do this great, I'm gonna hate him, and if he does it great, if he does it phenomenally, I'm gonna think it's okay. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. He did fantastic.
Everybody did great. I mean, there was no bad performance.
I think so. Like, apart from his, as far as the MCU goes, my favorite Loki performance was Thor Ragnarok. Shocker. My favorite MCU film has my favorite Tom Hiddleston performance. But I think that he was as good in this as he was in Ragnarok, if not better.
Yeah, I mean,
he did great.
Phenomenal. So if we're gonna go ahead and we do need to be a little concise. A score for the acting. Again, I mean, I can't think.
I would go a 9.
I would go a 9 as well. I think. I mean, it
was excellent.
Yeah, it was really. I mean,
and then who was? I'm trying to think of her name. The character who was essentially
Sylvie,
the villain. No, not Sylvie.
No. Oh yeah.
Ravonna Renslayer, who's like the leader of the TVA, played by.
I hated her, but the performance was great.
I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Gugu Mbatha Raw.
I can't pronounce it any better.
For me, it's hard to make me hate a character. Mm-hmm. I hated her.
Yeah.
I hated her.
Dude. Jesus Christ, dude. But it was performed so well. I mean,
she did great.
Yeah.
And then
don't think that I hate her as an actress or anything like that. It was great.
Yeah, and one of my favorite bit roles in the MCU, Eugene Cordero, who played Casey, who was just like an office mailman.
Yeah.
We see him in 2 episodes? Was he
the same? Was he the guy that was like, yeah, we got like 50 of those laying around the office?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, dude. By the way, in this show, just Infinity Stones.
And he killed it.
Listen, Infinity Stones are just table weights in this fucking show.
And he means that literally.
Yeah, literally.
People in the offices of the TVA use Infinity Stones as their paperweights.
That's fucking crazy to me, dude. Honestly, when that happened, it blew my mind, and in a way, it almost made me feel like, oh, the Infinity Wars means nothing now, because, like,
I was a little taken aback by that. But I personally don't know if that was a good call. But like, it's not like they really drove home that it's nothing, because it came up, they mentioned they came up, oh, it's nothing, and they moved on.
Yeah. And in the same show in which they treated everything like it was nothing, and then the sacred timeline gets fucked up, and they're like, oh shit, we gotta freak out, right? So it's like, it could mean something. Yeah. It could be something. Even if it isn't, listen, even if it isn't, the thing is that, like, this is a show. This is not a movie. It's gonna take time for them to develop everything they want to develop. I am just concerned that at the end of this, Kang the Conqueror is going to be a bigger villain than Thanos, but not have as much screen time or as much MCU clout, I guess. Because like
he won't have the weight that Thanos has.
Yeah, like Thanos is a huge thing, which is a problem. It wouldn't be a problem. Sorry, it wouldn't be a problem if Kang the Conqueror wasn't as big a deal. But if Kang the Conqueror uses fucking Infinity Stones as paperweights, but Thanos was known as the biggest villain, it's gonna create a problem.
Well, it raises the question.
You know what I mean?
Who's next?
I think Kang is next. He's got to be.
How do you think Kang will go against the Avengers? I think we'll deal with Kang and Ant-Man.
Hear me out.
I hope that they use this next phase to really drive home the multiverse. You introduce the X-Men. You introduce the Fantastic Four. I want our next big bad to be Galactus. And do him right.
Listen, they've done Galactus once in film, and that was in the Fantastic Four, the second movie.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I want him to do it right.
Here's the thing, man. I know this isn't really involved in acting. We're kind of devolving back into the story, but this is important stuff. And if you don't like this, you don't have to listen to it anymore. If you want our full score, you'll play through it. We'll have timestamps. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. There's a lot of potential for Kang. I don't think the way that they've set it up, and again, they could prove me wrong again. It'd be hard to at this point because the way they've set it up, it's this huge thing. I mean, not only did he treat Infinity Stones like they were paperweights, he created a company essentially that treated Infinity Stones like they were paperweights. He himself probably treats them like they're nothing. I mean, literally like
has no
marbles. Yeah, and that's my whole thing. Is that like Thanos is this huge threat that for 10 years, a decade, 20 plus films has been the overarching threat of the MCU. And this guy in one season of a TV show makes him nothing. Because it's like, oh, if Thanos had stepped in the wrong spot in the MCU, if he had been walking when he was on the planet, when he was with Gamora as a child and adopted her, if he had made one literally wrong step and kept going, the TVA would have showed up and pulled him in and pruned him, right? Mm-hmm. He would have been nothing. To Kang, the good guy Kang, not even the Conqueror.
He who remains.
He who remains. That would have been nothing.
Yeah.
But he was only supposed to have one season of the show and then an Ant-Man movie so far.
Yeah. He'll definitely be in season 2.
It's obviously.
He's gonna be the villain,
but like,
right?
It was supposed to be one season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say season 2, but it's supposed to be one season. But essentially, a season or 2 even of a show and one MCU film so far, an Ant-Man film, no less. And that's his movie, and that's his thing. It's like they set this thing up in motion. How do you do that, man? Like, it's like this was, and then you get to introduce Galactus somehow. I don't know, man. It's like I love the show.
Yeah, we don't know what the future holds,
and they blow my mind so far. But I just.
But anyway,
just thinking about the way that's supposed to play together, it blows my mind. It makes me think, and it makes me doubt almost. Like, the MCU has a great job of doing this, where it makes the fans and audience like us doubt how they're going to pull it off, and they do it in a way we haven't even thought about. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen, but still, I would hate for all of this to wind up like almost like the new Star Wars stuff happened, which Disney also controls, where the old stuff doesn't even really matter. It almost makes the old stuff not even really matter.
Do that.
I'm so afraid that's what's gonna happen. But anyway,
Feige? Is that how you say
Feige, I think.
I got too much faith in him.
I have a lot
performances.
I mean, the fact that we went over all this 9, and now we're on to design, the character design, the costume design.
So, like, set design, the way they design, like, the TVA offices, look really cool. They really sell the idea that it's, like, it feels weird to say in an MCU film, but, like, I mean, it really is, like, a cubicle office that looks nice.
And it's like the 60s almost.
Yeah.
It almost feels like WandaVision, but as an office.
Yeah. It's
really good.
It's a cubicle office that is really fancy. Mm-hmm. And they really sold that, and they used some real-life locations, which was great. Mm-hmm. Looked excellent. And then...
By the way, Loki was definitely the one that was supposed to be the last of the shows that was going to be made.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway.
We still got Moon Knight coming. I'm excited for that.
The colors were... I thought Moon Knight was a movie.
That's going to be a show. Oscar Isaac's playing him. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be a movie. Okay.
So,
I swear I thought it was a movie.
It's a Disney Plus show. Anyway.
When does that come out, by the way?
No idea.
Okay.
Can't wait for that. But the costume design was excellent. Mm-hmm. We get, prime Loki armor. We get Loki in like a fucking bullshit assistant detective attire. The armor
in the perfect suit.
Yeah. The kind of body armor that the TVA wears is really cool, and in my opinion, it was pretty unique.
And it looks expensive as far as the costumes are. Oh, we didn't even include effects, visual effects. How it looks. I guess that's under cinematography.
Yeah.
But it's also
But yeah, the design is great. Could have been better. Mm-hmm. But
could it? I mean, yeah.
It was still pretty excellent. I would go an 8.5 on the design.
I think that's fair. I think that I guess I need to really point out what could have been improved about the design. But I'll start with what I liked. I think what could have been improved about the design specifically was the security detail in the TVA. It honestly, they just look like basic SWAT team.
Yeah.
Even without face masks, it did feel kind of basic, which I guess maybe had been part of the point, because it was supposed to look like it was like a 1960s insurance company almost is how it looked. I do think that could have been improved upon, though, was about the special teams, which sounds kind of like a nitpicking, but if you watch the show, you realize that the TVA special teams was a huge focus of the show. Mm-hmm. We see them all the time. One of the main characters is a part of that team from Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, the characters.
So I think
Hunter. What was it? Hunter B-15.
Yeah, that's right, B-15. So I think that it was a little basic. There was a little bit to be desired. I don't know what exactly they could have done that would have made it look cooler. I think maybe some more buttons, I guess. I don't know, some basic design stuff. But overall, it did feel a little bit basic as far as the security detail. I did really enjoy the design of... What's up? Well, I did really enjoy the design of these suits and the dresses.
Yeah.
That specifically Owen Wilson and even Loki, when they put him in a variant outfit, I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And they have this really cool thing where the button down shirts that they wear has a big stripe that goes down from the chest that isn't a stripe, isn't a color stripe, but just literally the way the fabric is made is really cool. You'll know it if you see it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Everybody noticed it. What's up?
Another thing about it is I don't remember the character's name, but in the Thor movies, he has that group of fighters that are his buddies.
And, oh yeah.
The female from that is in the time loop they put Loki in for prison. You remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The actor that played that character says that that is actually a big return for her, and that she is going to be sticking around in the MCU after that. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in the show, was she?
Yeah, she was in the time loop with Loki.
Yes. Yes, that's right. They had a whole. Jesus Christ. They had a whole time loop. The Loki from this one was put into a time loop, and that was one of the core central things about the character. Was he learned about some of his wrongdoings by being in this time loop that was basically a prison for the TVA, where he had to relive a moment that taught him a whole lot about that was supposed to teach him about being, I guess, a good person, and that he lived through I guess 100 plus times. I don't know how many times, and he eventually it molded his character about trying to learn to be a good person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But she's back. So anyway, what's next?
Well, we're still on the editing. What did we say? 8.5. What did we say on the editing?
No,
that was design. That was design. 8.5. That was 8.5. Yeah. Editing. Fucking really good.
It was good.
Oh, no, hold on. Before we get into editing, I apologize. Cinematography. We skipped over that. We went from writing to acting. We skipped over cinematography.
Okay, so cinematography.
Looks phenomenal.
It's. I don't think it was anything special.
But it was really good.
Just standard TV stuff, standard MCU stuff.
I don't think it was standard TV stuff. It was standard MCU, but it was not standard TV.
It wasn't bad.
It was the best of the 3 shows that we've had so far.
But I don't know, I didn't think it was excellent. It did leave some to be desired to me. But they showed us what we needed to see. But I personally can't think of a moment where I was wow, this cinematography is especially set up to drive home the emotion of what's going on.
I think if
outside of the time loop, they did some good work in the time loop in my opinion, and that's really the only time I can think of where the cinematography really drove the character and the story.
I can think of one time where I was genuinely kind of blown away by what they were doing. And everything else I agree with you with. It was a Marvel show, not generic. I don't want to say, but it fit.
Not generic, but uninspired.
Uninspired. There was one moment though where it really caught me, and it was the moment where the planet was about to explode, where they were sitting together, and the moon is a moon behind them was imploding and exploding and about to come to them. That moment between, it was the end of the 4th episode and the beginning of the 5th episode, I was genuinely kind of taken aback, and it felt. You remember the moment in Infinity War when Thanos pulled the moon? He broke the moon up with the gauntlet and pulled it down into asteroids on top of everybody else on Titan.
Yes,
it was like that, but it took more time to show it. and it felt more grand, and it felt emotional. I was caught up in the emotion. That moment felt like it actually belonged in a movie theater in front of a big screen with popcorn and soda and whatever else. Everything else felt like a not generic, but general MCU movie. Because MCU has not been generic in how well they've done. It's a whole new thing. They've been spectacular. When you compare to anything else in film history, MCU has been its whole thing. Its own thing. But in this specific show, it felt like that moment felt like it belonged in theaters. Everything else kind of felt like it could be in a movie or show or whatever. But that moment felt specific. So and that moment caught me. I don't want to say off guard, but it did catch me in like a very emotional spot. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I really feel this, you know. And it wasn't just there to look cool. It was there to hammer in the relationship between Loki and Sylvie. So it wasn't just there to look cool. There was actual intent set behind the cinematography to emotionally impact the moment beyond a design or anything like that. It was there to specifically enhance the emotion we were feeling between Loki and Sylvie, and there was thought behind it. And so for that, I would say 8.5. 8.5 to 9 is where I'm at. I think cinematography.
Give it a 7.
7? I was gonna say like 8.5. We can meet at 7.75.
Yeah, that'll work. But no,
I genuinely think that in that moment,
that one moment was not enough to impress me that much.
I obviously, from the way I've been talking about, I would disagree on that. I think that moment was definitely enough to pull me in enough to say that it genuinely hit me in that way. It emotionally, I felt it. Now, that being said, everything outside of that moment was kind of, I don't want to say generic, but it just fit, you know what I mean? It kind of fit the spot that it needed to be. But that moment specifically, is the end of the 4th episode, beginning of the 5th, if I'm not mistaken, when the planet was coming down on top of them, and they shared that moment. So, 8.5 is what that, 7.75 is what that averages out to. And then we'll move on to the editing. I think the editing did exactly what it needed to be. Again, this the way I feel about editing is kind of how you feel about the cinematography. It kind of gave me exactly what I needed. You know, I didn't...
But, nothing more.
I think maybe it was either the 2nd or 3rd episode, where it was when they went to the store in Birmingham, Alabama. By the way, represent Alabama, baby. Let's go. Yeah. 47th in educate. Anyway, there was a moment where they went...
49th in best states to live in.
Hey, baby. Hey, but first in where Nick Fury was born. Let's go.
Yeah, also first in football national championships.
I'm an Auburn fan, so...
Yeah,
anyway. You're barely a fan at all. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit.
Anyways, there was and it almost was a little bit insensitive in how they touched on the tornadoes. Is how it was the apocalyptic.
It wasn't just a tornado. It was a whole
hurricane.
Tropical storm.
It's a hurricane, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, tropical storm.
But in Alabama, and I'm just yeah, baby. The one thing we got to our name is we got horrible fucking storms.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Which, by the way, recently storming a whole fucking bunch.
Not really storming, it's just rain.
God,
fucking
flooding everywhere.
Dude. In this month alone, Birmingham got almost 6 inches of rain. And the month isn't over.
Hey, bro, pray for us real quick. I'm gonna hit that spectacle testicle wallet and watch. You know what I mean? Fucking 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we needed that first.
So we were kind of in a drought for a little bit, actually.
It's fucking over.
Yeah. God was like, hey, y'all didn't want it. Y'all were praying for a fucking rain. Well, here you go.
Yeah, here's all you'll ever need.
But anyway, in that specific episode, the cutting between building the tension with Morbius and the agent that they found that had been previously kidnapped by the variant Loki, Sylvie. At that time, we didn't know who it was. We thought it was just another Tom Hiddleston. Very good twist. But cutting between there, it really, the cutting there specifically, built the tension we needed for the episode, and that was about it. Honestly, that episode was the one that I felt like everything was paced appropriately as far as the editing goes. After that, everything felt normal. but that one's I say appropriate, felt kind of exceptional. So it was that one episode that felt really good. And I feel like that's almost the story of Loki as a show, is that like there's an episode here and there, or if you can pick one episode that specializes in one specific thing that it did exceptionally, and the rest of it was really good at what it does. Like you had editing.
For acting, episode 6.
It's like you had
like the whole episode is pretty much just Loki and Sylvie talking to He Who Remains.
Well, think about it. Acting, episode 6. Cinematography, episode 3 at the end of 3 and end of 4, episode of 5, beginning of 5.
3 and 4.
Was it 3 and 4?
Yeah, because 5 was
you're right.
In space.
Ending of 3, beginning of 4, cinematography. You think about editing. It's 2, episode 2, or at the end of episode 2 and beginning of episode 3 when they went to the fucking was it Birmingham?
No,
was it Birmingham? I thought it was Birmingham.
Episode 2.
Well, then 2, where they went and found the variant.
I just know it was in Alabama.
In Alabama. So it's like it almost felt like they picked. I know this is not what they did, but it almost felt like they picked an episode and they focused on one specific thing and made the overall series really, really fucking good by doing that. So editing, if it wasn't for that one episode, I'd probably give it a 7.5. But because of that episode, I'm willing to give it like an 8.
I was gonna give it a 7.5.
I was gonna give it an 8. So 7.75.
Yeah.
Because I think like overall, it does exactly what it needs to do. But for that one episode, I think it did kind of exceptional. Now, this is one thing where I think you and I are going to kind of agree, is on the soundtrack. It did what it needed to do.
I thought it was unmemorable. I was not crazy about the soundtrack.
The one thing about the soundtrack that got me, and it's not like the last thing where it was like it was enough to bring it up a whole lot. I do think that the theme for the show was really fucking cool. The like fucking dun dun dun, like it was very iconic, that part, but the rest of it felt like MCU. Yeah. It's MCU music,
and we all know MCU music is not exceptional.
It's good. I would say like 7. Like it'd be. I
was gonna go 6.
Well, I was gonna go 6.5. I was gonna go. There's really not a whole lot to say about it. I was gonna go 6.5 if I didn't feel anything exceptional, but it was good enough to pass, like 6.5. The theme, I found myself like in my car driving, doing the theme to Loki, because I think that specific piece sounds really good and exceptional.
But across 6 episodes to have one good thing,
yes, and that's why it only gets like a 6.5 to 7 for that. I think a 7 for me, 6 for you.
Yeah.
6.5 average is actually pretty fair for me for the soundtrack. MCU, you gotta do a little bit better on your soundtrack.
I definitely think they should. Like outside of the theme for Loki, hum one piece from the MCU. Go.
Yeah. And it's I think it's a really good piece. It's like almost like the new Star Wars trilogy was, because the new Star Wars trilogy, they had a few pieces here and there that really caught my eye, but the rest of it just felt like old Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So
nothing.
All right. Well, we've got the numbers crunched in. We're gonna crunch these numbers. Sorry, we have the numbers in. We're gonna crunch these numbers, and we're gonna get our total score for Loki season 1. And there will most definitely be a season 2 review when that comes out. Absolutely. And at the end of season 2. Not when it first comes out, but when it finishes.
Yeah.
Alright, and we have our numbers crunched. And the Unscripted Podcast official review for Loki Season 1 is an 8.3. And that is really good. Yeah, it is. It's one of the higher ones we've ever done.
It's pretty high up there, considering we've mostly reviewed shitters.
Listen, some of those weren't even intentional. In fact, at one point, I remember being like a year ago, I was on the podcast with you, and I was like, Luke, can we review something that we actually like? Yeah. Well, look, we have. This is one that we actually really like.
Which means that next time we're going to review a movie that we didn't like.
Is it? Is it?
No, that's not what it means at all.
I was about to say, what do you think we're going to review next? What do you think?
I don't know.
I think Fear Street we can review next, or we can wait till October, but I'd rather get on that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So probably Fear Street.
Or Old.
Old.
One of the two.
Yeah. Probably Fear Street or Old. Hopefully Old we don't hate, so that we can review when we like. Dude, M. Night Shyamalan needs one. Come on.
But also, keep an eye out. We decided what we're going to do moving forward is when Marvel's What If shows, we will do once a week after every episode. We will do a mini episode that is not a podcast. It is just us reviewing the episode of the week. We're going to do it every week.
Every week.
After we're going to watch it. We'll probably watch each episode. I think we should watch each episode twice.
Yep.
Watch it twice. And then immediately do the review.
And even if not a review, an observation. Because you may not be able to break down all the promote, but talk about it. Yeah. We'll do a review, but it'll be an unconventional review.
Yeah. And then
we'll talk about each episode as it comes out, and then when all of them come out.
Yeah. After the season 1 is over, we are going to do a podcast episode in which we will review the entire season.
Exactly. So each episode that comes out will be an unofficial review. We'll talk about the episode in depth, only about that episode. It won't be a podcast in this sense where we talk about a bunch of different topics. It'll be focused on that, probably 20 minutes long at the most. Talk about each episode each week, and then we'll finish off with a firm review of the entire series once it's finished. At least season 1. I don't know if there's going to be season 2. There will be season 2?
There will be 2 seasons.
So at least season 1 we will finish with that review once every episode is out.
Yeah.
And as always, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to this whole podcast.
We love you guys.
We really do. Honestly, we genuinely appreciate any feedback and all the likes or views that we get from you guys. You guys are part of the reason we keep doing this. And we genuinely love doing this for you. We love doing this for us. It's a great way for us to talk about what we love and let you kind of get in on our thoughts. And thank you so much for watching. And and reach out, leave us comments about anything you want us to cover in the future. And thank you so much. And with that,
theme song.
Long ago in a distant land, I, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Aku.
Gotta do that, back to the past, samurai jack.
Watch it.
Gotta do that, back to the past, samurai jack.
Check.
Gotta do that, back to the past, samurai jack.
Watch it.
Gotta do that, back to the past, samurai jack.
Check.
Gotta do that,
Check. Watch it.
gotta do that.